Chapter 31-37. Book 1, Chapter 82. The sect master said in a low voice, "Do you think that Qin will let Long go? We've attacked Qin many times and are enemies of Qin. Qin definitely won't let Long go unless we pay a price." The gentle, beautiful woman said, "Can we reconcile with Qin? In the future, we won't attack Qin and give them some treasures so that they can let Long go." Zi Yuan said comfortingly, "As a mother, I'm not that anxious. Don't be so anxious. Things aren't as simple as you think. If it were you, would you reconcile so easily?" The gentle, beautiful woman thought about it and said with tears in her eyes, "Even though I didn't give birth to Long I've always treated him as my own son. I'm too worried that something will happen to him." The sect master said, "He's also my son. I'll have someone write a letter to Qin to calm them down and tell them not to hurt Long. As for what they want, we'll have to consider it later." The gentle, beautiful woman looked at the sect master and said, "What if Qin really kills Long The sect master said coldly, "I'll make sure that Qin will be barren and that blood will flow like a river." Within Qin's palace, Zhao Fu was enjoying the fruits of his victory. The 8 princesses that Long Yang had found tasted quite good. The leading princess powerlessly lay in Zhao Fu's embrace as she smiled and said, "Are you satisfied with us, Your Majesty?" Zhao Fu smiled and lightly nodded. The woman smiled and said, "You have to be responsible for us." Now that they had such a relationship with Zhao Fu, even if they went to Long Yang's side, they would be killed. As such, it was better to stay by Zhao Fu's side. The beautiful woman hugged Zhao Fu and smiled as she said, "Your Majesty, you're 100 times better than Long Yang. You are 100 times stronger than that Long Yang. At that time, he was the one who forced me to become his woman. If only I had met you earlier." Zhao Fu smiled. "I won't mistreat you." At this time, the letter was also delivered to Qin. Zhao Fu asked the woman in his arms to read it to him. The main meaning of the letter was that they regretted attacking Qin and apologized to Qin. They wanted to reconcile with Qin and they would try their best to satisfy Qin's request. The beautiful woman asked, "Your Majesty, what do you think?" Zhao Fu said with a smile, "What do you think?" The beautiful woman smiled and said, "I think we can accept their apology. One more friend is better than another. If we let Long Yang go, we can obtain a large number of treasures. No matter how you think about it, it is more beneficial." Zhao Fu pinched her chin and said coldly, "Do you think they really want to be friends with Qin? They are just forced by the current situation. If they find a suitable opportunity, they will definitely attack Qin again. Qin doesn't need such a friend. Also, are you still thinking about Long Yang? Do you still want to help him out?" The beautiful woman said fearfully, "No, Your Majesty, I like you now. I only said those words because Long Yang treated me well in the past. Your Majesty, I was wrong." As she spoke, the beautiful woman started to cry. The other women did not dare to speak, afraid that they would anger Zhao Fu and that Zhao Fu could kill them at any time. Zhao Fu's tone changed as he lightly smiled and said, "You are his wives, so I can understand that you want to save him. Alright, don't cry." The beautiful woman hugged Zhao Fu and said obediently, "Your Majesty, I will serve you wholeheartedly in the future. You are my only man." The other women also said, "Your Majesty, we are the same." Zhao Fu then placed Long Yang with the other princesses. After hearing about this, the other princesses sighed. Long Yang had been lucky to escape last time, but this time, he had fallen into Qin's hands, and it was almost impossible for him to escape. They would not continue to help Long Yang, as they had already repaid what they owed Long Yang. Moreover, Long Yang had opposed Qin many times, and if they helped Long Yang, they would die. Now, they were living in the Qin royal palace and were quite satisfied with their current lives. They did not want anything to happen to them. The new princesses heard about the grievances between Zhao Fu and Long Yang from the old princesses, and they understood why Long Yang hated Zhao Fu so much. They were also incredibly shocked that Zhao Fu was the mysterious emperor. Back then, the mysterious emperor's matters had spread throughout the entire ancient STEM domain, and everyone knew about him. It was only because he had disappeared for a few years that the matter had slowly died down. However, no one would have thought that the mysterious emperor had been in the ancient STEM domain the entire time and was the emperor of Qin. Zhao Fu continued to deal with internal affairs and collected flower seeds, preparing to nurture the next batch of evil flower seed. This time, the evil flower seeds and dragon pillars worked together miraculously, instantly taking control of Long Yang's army and causing it to be completely annihilated. If Zhao Fu could nurture another batch, they would be quite useful to Qin. As for the army controlled by the evil flower seeds, Zhao Fu prepared to create a special evil flower army and send a commander to command them. He could not waste such an army. In the future, as Qin continuously nurtured evil flower seeds, the evil flower army's numbers would continuously increase, and it would become a very important army for Qin. Zhao Fu also prepared a place for the evil flower army to cultivate, and he would need to plant an evil spirit abyss flower elsewhere. As the evil flower seeds controlled the disciples, they would have the same abilities as the evil flower seed. According to the teachers' wives, they would not be weak, and they would be a type of army that was worth nurturing. After dealing with so many things, Zhao Fu spent a few days. Now that the battle in the heaven-awakened world had been resolved, there were no more battles to be fought. Now that Zhao Fu had some free time, he spent more time with the women. He often went out and owed them much. Zhao Fu did not know that such a leisure thing would not last long. This time, the kingdoms went back, and soon they would lead their armies to attack again. At the same time, Zhao Fu had many other things to deal with, so he could not stay in Qin for too long. Nu Lu leaned against Zhao Fu's shoulder and said with a reddened face, "Husband, it's not a big deal. I want to have your child." Zhao Fu chuckled. That might be difficult. After Zhao Fu had awakened the supreme theocrat star in the chaos world, it had become virtually impossible for him to have children. It wasn't that Zhao Fu couldn't have children, but rather that no woman could bear them. Not even the origin race could. There was almost no one in the mortal world who could give birth to Zhao Fu's children. It might be possible if they went to the immortal world because there were existences that surpassed the origin bloodline in the immortal world. Of course, there might be some in the ultimate as well. No one knew if this was a punishment for Zhao Fu's bloodline being too high. Nu Lu said shyly, "I'll definitely work hard." Zhao Fu lightly laughed and nodded before saying to Wu Qingyang, "You also need to work hard." Wu Qingyang rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu and said, "Who wants to have children with a bastard like you?" Zhao Fu chuckled. A few days later, Zhao Fu, who was dealing with internal affairs, received a letter. Looking at this letter, he thought about it and left the Qin royal palace. Chapter 31-38. Book 1. Chapter 83. Zhao Fu came to a forest and said, "I'm here." A figure walked out. It was Ziyuan. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "What's the matter?" Ziyuan looked at Zhao Fu and said, "You're quite brave to come to see me alone. Aren't you afraid that I'll capture you in exchange for my son's life?" Zhao Fu couldn't help but feel that it was quite funny. Ziyuan was at the world realm. Wasn't it a joke for a world realm cultivator to threaten an emptiness realm cultivator? Zhao Fu could easily subdue her without using his hands. However, Zhao Fu didn't tell her and smiled as he said, "You can try, but I can't guarantee your son's safety." Ziyuan said coldly, "Speak. What will it take for you to let my son go?" It had been a few days since the letter from the 8-Day Dragon sect reached Qin, but Qin had not recovered at all. This made the people of the 8-Day Dragon sect very anxious. As Long Yang's mother, Ziyuan couldn't help but personally come to settle this matter. Zhao Fu lightly smiled and said, "I don't want anything. You don't have to worry about your son. He's in jail now, so it's not bad." Ziyuan let out a sigh of relief, but she also frowned. If Zhao Fu didn't want anything, then she couldn't let her son go. After thinking for a while, Ziyuan's tone softened. It's our fault for opposing Qin. Please give us a chance. We can promise that we won't oppose Qin anymore. Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, I don't believe you. Ziyuan asked, then you'll only believe me after this? Zhao Fu smiled and said, no matter what you do, I won't believe you. Ziyuan said angrily, so you don't want to reconcile with the 8-day dragon sect and won't let my son go? Zhao Fu smiled and nodded, I want to destroy the 8-day dragon sect now. Ziyuan coldly harumphed and said, you can try. Zhao Fu smiled and said, what if I really destroy the 8-day dragon sect? Ziyuan said coldly, I don't believe it. Zhao Fu smiled and said, you guys don't care about the young sect master's safety? Ziyuan glared at Zhao Fu coldly and said, if you have the ability, then destroy my 8-day dragon sect openly. Don't play these despicable tricks. Zhao Fu laughed and said, you guys are enemies. Why should I talk about justice? And when did you talk about justice with Qin? Ziyuan was unable to retort, and her pupils constricted. Light shone from beneath Zhao Fu's feet as 4 3-meter-long dragons appeared in 4 directions, giving off bright light. A powerful restrictive power locked Zhao Fu in place. Since Zhao Fu refused to let Long Yang go no matter what, she could only use this method. She forced Qin to let her son go. She didn't believe that Qin's position as the emperor was less important than her son. Zhao Fu looked around and struggled slightly, but he couldn't move. Ziyuan said coldly, don't waste your energy. That's the 4-dragon demon locking formation. Even if your cultivation surpasses the world realm, you won't be able to break through it. Zhao Fu smiled calmly and asked, what do you plan to do next? Ziyuan said coldly, I already said that I'll exchange you for my son. I can also force Qin to submit. You're too confident this time. However, I can understand. I know that you're an arrogant and overbearing person. Zhao Fu laughed and said, have you ever thought that I'm not Qin's master? Ziyuan snorted, that's impossible. Your aura can't fool me. Also, don't play trick. I won't believe you. Zhao Fu smiled and continued, have you ever thought that my cultivation has already surpassed the world realm? Ziyuan said coldly, I already said that even if you surpass the world realm, you won't be able to break through. Zhao Fu smiled as he asked, is that so? Boom. Zhao Fu waved his hand and a massive wave of dragon energy gave off an unstoppable aura as it blasted against the 4 dragons. The 4 dragons directly collapsed and turned into motes of light that dissipated, and the restrictive power also disappeared. Ziyuan looked at this scene in shock. Was this person really that powerful? Could it be that his cultivation had already reached the Emperor Heaven realm? Zhao Fu looked at Ziyuan and said, what other methods do you have? Ziyuan stared at Zhao Fu and did not reply. She prepared to immediately escape from this place because she did not have any other methods. She had never thought that Zhao Fu would be so powerful, and even if she did, it would be useless. Whoosh! Ziyuan gave off a light and was about to disappear when Zhao Fu instantly appeared in front of her and hugged her, and a powerful energy bound her. Zhao Fu evilly laughed as he said, you won't be able to escape now. Ziyuan vigorously struggled as she said, you bastard, let go of me. A few hours later, Ziyuan, who was lying on the ground, coldly said, can you let my son go now? Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, I never agreed to let him go. Ziyuan coldly stared at Zhao Fu. If there was no energy binding her, she would have immediately dismembered Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu looked at Ziyuan and said, didn't you not believe that I destroyed the 8-day dragon sect? I'll let you personally see the 8-day dragon sect's destruction. Bastard! Ziyuan loudly cursed and leapt over, wanting to hit Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu smiled as he hugged her and said, let's go to the 8-day dragon sect together. 4 days passed. Zhao Fu brought Ziyuan to the 8-day dragon sect's territory. The two of them wore black cloaks, and Ziyuan was completely controlled by Zhao Fu. Even here, Ziyuan could not reveal her identity, and she could only follow by Zhao Fu's side resentfully like a puppet. The two of them found a courtyard to stay in. Ziyuan coldly said, "What do you want to do next?" Zhao Fu laughed as he said, "Just be obedient and watch." Zhao Fu first wanted to gather all of the information about the 8-day dragon sect. The sect master was protected by fate and was within the sect, so it would be quite difficult for Zhao Fu to launch a sneak attack on him. However, Zhao Fu already had a way to deal with him, so he was not in a hurry. The 8-day dragon sect's cultivation technique was quite special. The 8 princesses would share the damage done to the sect master, so he had to get rid of the 8 princesses. As long as he could control them, everything would be easy. Zhao Fu wrote a letter and had people bring it to the sect. Next to a small stream, Zhao Fu took out the royal wood sword and turned it into a fishing rod, and he leisurely started to fish. Ziyuan stood by the side, looking quite worried. An hour later, a person came. She was the gentle and beautiful woman, and her name was Lan Qingshui. Zhao Fu's letter was for her, telling her to come here if she wanted to save Long Yang. Lan Qingshui was the most worried about Long Yang, so after seeing the letter, she immediately came here. Lan Qingshui looked at the two cloaked people and asked, "Who are you?" Chapter 31-39. Book 1, Chapter 84. Zhao Fu did not look at her and continued to fish as he said, "I'm the ruler of Qin." Lan Qingshui looked quite shocked. Why had the ruler of Qin come to the 8-day dragon sect? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I heard that you dote on Long Yang the most. Do you want to save him?" Lan Qingshui said anxiously, "Of course I want to. As long as you let Long Yang go, I'm willing to do anything." Zhao Fu chuckled as he said, "As expected, you dote on Long Yang. I don't have any other requests. As long as you come and serve me, I'll consider letting Long Yang go." Lan Qingshui's expression changed, and he felt quite troubled. Ziyuan glared at Zhao Fu angrily. She had underestimated how despicable Zhao Fu was to use such a method to obtain Lan Qingshui. After a while, Zhao Fu asked, "Have you thought it through? If you're not willing, I'll give you Long Yang's limbs." Lan Qingshui hurriedly said, "No." Zhao Fu turned to look at Lan Qingshui and smiled as he said, "Do you agree?" Lan Qingshui made up his mind and said, "I agree." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Come over." Lan Qingshui said, "Wait, how will you prove your identity? What if I serve you, but you're not the ruler of Qin?" Zhao Fu gave off the aura of a ruler of Qin as he said, "Now, you can confirm my identity, right?" Lan Qingshui did not say anything else and walked over to Zhao Fu. There was a touch of sadness on her face. Although she had saved Long Yang, she had also betrayed her man. Seeing that Lan Qingshui was really going to serve Zhao Fu, Ziyuan hurriedly said, "Don't believe his words. He's just a despicable person. You don't have to make such a big sacrifice for my son. Have you thought about the future?" Lan Qingshui said in surprise, "You're Ziyuan? Why are you together?" Ziyuan looked at Zhao Fu and coldly snorted, "I went to Qin to save Long Yang, but in the end I was controlled by this bastard. His purpose in coming to the 8-day dragon sect is to destroy the 8-day dragon sect." Lan Qingshui was shocked and wanted to escape immediately. Zhao Fu calmly said, "You can try to escape. I guarantee that you will receive Long Yang's head." Lan Qingshui looked troubled. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "If you're obedient, I might not only let Long Yang off, but I might also spare sect master's life in the future." Hearing this, Lan Qingshui thought for a while and walked to Zhao Fu's side. Zhao Fu naturally wouldn't stand on ceremony. Ziyuan watched as Zhao Fu ravaged Lan Qingshui and sighed. She felt that Lan Qingshui was Long Yang's mother. If it was her, she would not have made such a big sacrifice. She felt that she owed Lan Qingshui a lot. A few hours later, Lan Qingshui said in Zhao Fu's arms, Can you let Long Yang go now? Zhao Fu smiled and said, Not now. Lan Qingshui looked at Zhao Fu. I will obediently serve you, but you have to do what you promised me. Zhao Fu nodded. Zi Wewan, who was lying on the other side, said coldly, Qingshui, don't believe him. Lan Qingshui looked at Zi Wewan and said softly, But there's nothing else I can do besides believing in him. If my sacrifice can change the fate of Long Yang and Sect Master, I'm willing to sacrifice myself. Zi Wewan didn't know what to say. Zhao Fu smiled and hugged Zi Wewan. Don't worry, if you really listen to me, I will definitely spare Long Yang and Sect Master's lives. Of course, if you're not willing to cooperate, don't blame me for being ruthless. Zi Wewan snorted and her attitude softened. Zhao Fu hugged the two beautiful women and said, I want to know about the others. You should know about them. Lan Qingshui said softly, I can tell you, but you can't harm their lives. Zhao Fu smiled and said, I can't bear to separate you. Zi Wewan rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu and said, You want the 8 of us to serve you together, right? You damned bastard. Zhao Fu chuckled. Following this, Zhao Fu started to act. The sky just happened to turn dark, and a beautiful woman with a graceful figure and an alluring aura, wearing a green palace dress, sat unhappily by the side. She was the Sect Master's 3rd princess, and she was called Qin Xiaojiao. She had planned to spend time with the Sect Master today, but because of recent matters, the Sect Master was not interested at all, so she could only return to her courtyard. She couldn't help but think of the past. The Sect Master cultivated such a powerful dragon-type art, and he was also very strong in that aspect. Qin Xiaojiao's face became red. A person suddenly hugged her from behind. Qin Xiaowan was shocked and hurriedly struggled. She also released a powerful force, wanting to send that person flying. However, that person's strength was far stronger than hers, and directly suppressed the power in her body. Qin Xiaojiao wanted to call out, but a hand covered her mouth. After an unknown amount of time, the Sect Master came to the door and said curiously, Xiaojiao, what are you doing? Why is there a barrier here? Within the room, Qin Xiaojiao looked at Zhao Fu pleadingly. However, Zhao Fu ignored her. Qin Xiaojiao endured it and said, It's nothing, I'm cultivating a secret technique and can't be disturbed. The Sect Master said, Oh, continue cultivating then. I'm sorry for what happened today, but I'll accompany you in the future. After the Sect Master left, Qin Xiaojiao hit at Zhao Fu with both hands, but Zhao Fu allowed her to hit him. The next day, the sky brightened. Qin Xiaojiao slowly woke up and suddenly sat up. Looking at the mess around her, she realized that what happened last night was not a dream. Just who was that fellow? Qin Xiaojiao said furiously. That person's strength was absolutely terrifying. He had soundlessly entered her room. Even with her world realm cultivation, she could not resist him at all. Regarding this matter, Qin Xiaojiao could only endure it. Now, Qin Xiaojiao didn't dare to spread this matter. Not only would her reputation be affected, but her status might also be affected. Her life might even be in danger. However, she definitely would not let that bastard off. If she found him, she would castrate him. After feeling angry for a while, Qin Xiaojiao tidied up the room, and the scenes from last night appeared in her mind. Even though she was quite angry, she had never been so happy before. Qin Xiaojiao's face became red and she cursed at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu said to Zi Wewan and Lan Qingshui, The 2 of you can go back and pretend that nothing happened. Don't arouse any suspicions. Zi Wewan said coldly, Are you so confident that we'll submit to you and won't tell anyone about you? Zhao Fu smiled and said, You can give it a try. The power I left in your bodies will tell you what the consequences are. Also, don't try to dissolve this power. Even if you call a higher being, it will be useless. Zi Wewan looked at Zhao Fu in shock. You're just a border emperor, how can you have such powerful abilities? Zhao Fu smiled and said, You'll know in the future. Chapter 3140. Book 1, Chapter 85. There were still 5 of them left. The next person to act was a person who raised many small animals, and he was called Mu Qingran. Zhao Fu's next target was a person who raised many small animals, and her name was Mu Qingran. These animals were not unfamiliar with Zhao Fu at all, and they were quite friendly to him. Otherwise, they would have run away in fear. Mu Qingran was not in the courtyard, and Zhao Fu was waiting there. A furry kitten wriggled over to Zhao Fu's side and meowed at Zhao Fu, looking quite cute. Zhao Fu thought for a moment before feeding the kitten some food. Seeing that there was food, the other animals immediately gathered around. Some intimately rubbed against Zhao Fu, while others impolitely jumped onto Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu fed them food one by one, and the scene was quite harmonious and warm. After some time, a tall and beautiful woman with a cold face walked in. Looking at Zhao Fu surrounded by many animals, she was quite surprised and asked, "Who are you?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I came to find you for something. I didn't know that you liked so many small animals." Mu Qingran asked, "What can I do for you? I don't think I've seen you before. You're not from the 8-Day Dragon sect, right?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, I'm indeed not from the 8-Day Dragon sect. I came to find you because of Long Yang." A cat ran to Mu Qingran's feet, and Mu Qingran picked it up and said softly, "I think you've found the wrong person. I don't care about Long Yang." Even though Mu Qingran was one of the sect master's 8 wives, she did not like Long Yang because Long Yang was sometimes too violent and had killed some of her animals. As such, she did not care about Long Yang being captured. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Then I'll kill Long Yang." Mu Qingran frowned. "Wait, you killed Long Yang? Are you working for Qin?" Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Mu Qingran became wary. She had thought that Zhao Fu was not a bad person, or else her animals would not have gotten close to Zhao Fu. However, she did not know that Zhao Fu had the spirit race's Emperor Star and was the leader of all creatures. There was a kind of affinity between heaven and earth. Zhao Fu stood up and walked towards Mu Qingran. Mu Qingran said coldly, "What do you want to do?" Zhao Fu stepped forward and hugged her. Mu Qingran struggled in panic. The cat in her arms jumped up and sucked, ignoring its owner. A few hours later, on a chair in the courtyard, Zhao Fu looked at Mu Qingran in his arms and said with a smile, "I have something to do, so I'll be leaving first." Mu Qingran blushed and didn't say anything. She thought of the scene just now in front of so many small animals. Zhao Fu put her aside and prepared to leave. Mu Qingran said softly, "Who are you?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Lord of Qin." Mu Qingran said in shock, "You're the rumored Lord of Qin." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Mu Qingran asked, "What do you plan to do with me in the future?" Zhao Fu looked at Mu Qingran and said, "What do you want me to do?" Mu Qingran said softly, "I want you to take me away." Now that such a thing had happened, Mu Qingran understood that she could not stay in the 8 Days Dragon sect. She did not have a deep relationship with the sect master, and she had been snatched away by the sect master back then. Compared to the two of them, Mu Qingran could accept Zhao Fu more because Zhao Fu gave her a sense of affinity. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "No problem." Mu Qingran asked, "When will you take me away?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "After I take care of things, there's a beautiful place in Qin with many small animals. I feel that it'll be very suitable for you." Mu Qingran smiled as she said, "Thank you." A beautiful woman with a graceful figure wearing a white dress and giving off a scholarly aura suddenly barged in and looked at the scene before her in shock. How could you do such an immoral thing? Her name was Min Qingqing. She had a good relationship with Mu Qingran, and she had come to have some fun today but had never thought that she would see such a scene. She was also a very traditional woman. Mu Qingran felt quite panicked and covered herself with her clothes as she said, "Qingqing, let me explain." Min Qingqing's face was red as she said angrily, "I don't want you to explain. I want to tell this to my husband and have you two be punished. Also, there's nothing to explain for doing such a shameless thing." Zhao Fu said, "You can't blame her. I forcefully bullied her." Min Qingqing coldly looked at Zhao Fu and said, "Who are you? Aren't you afraid of death for doing such a thing?" Mu Qingran said, "He's the ruler of Qin City." Min Qingqing's expression changed, and she immediately tried to grab hold of Zhao Fu. After all, this ruler of Qin City was the 8-day dragon sect's biggest enemy, and if she could capture him, she would be able to return to Longyang City. Her relationship with Longyang City was quite ordinary, but as Longyang City's fifth mother, she had the duty to save Longyang City. However, she had overestimated her strength, and she was unable to grab hold of Zhao Fu. Instead, she was hugged by Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "I was going to go and find you, but since you came to me yourself, don't blame me." Min Qingqing said angrily and shyly, "I definitely won't let you have your way." As a traditional woman, Min Qingqing could not accept being bullied by Zhao Fu, so she immediately used a wave of power to shatter her heart. She would rather die than let Zhao Fu stain her. However, a wave of power restricted her. The warm afternoon sunlight shone on Zhao Fu, Min Qingqing, and Min Qingqing. Zhao Fu smiled as he hugged the two beautiful women and looked at the sunset sky. Min Qingqing started to sob in Zhao Fu's arms. Zhao Fu did not comfort her and instead mocked, "Aren't you very chaste? What were you like just now? Why are you crying now?" Min Qingqing ignored Zhao Fu and continued to cry. She wanted to die, but Zhao Fu's power controlled her, making it so that she could not even die. Mu Qingren comforted her and said, "Qingqing, don't take it too hard." Min Qingqing continued to cry. Zhao Fu coldly harumphed, "If you continue to cry, I'll throw you out and let everyone see what you look like." Min Qingqing looked at Zhao Fu in shame and indignation, but she did not dare to cry. Mu Qingren said softly, "I plan to leave with him. Qingqing, do you want to come with me? That way you can keep your reputation." Min Qingqing angrily said coldly, "I'm not leaving with such a scumbag. I just want to die now." Zhao Fu said, "I can fulfill your wish. I'll throw you to a few hundred men and let them get rid of you." Hearing this, Min Qingqing angrily scolded, "You scum!" Zhao Fu harumphed, "Behave yourself, or you'll end up like this." Min Qingqing gritted her teeth and looked at Zhao Fu. Chapter 3141. Book 1, Chapter 86. After dealing with the matters here, Zhao Fu left and there were only 3 of them left. Within the courtyard, Mu Qingren comforted Min Qingqing and told her to accept the present and not make Zhao Fu angry in the future, or else Zhao Fu would really do that. Under Mu Qingran's persuasion, Min Qingqing's emotions stabilized. Delicate shouts sounded out as a beautiful middle-aged woman with a ponytail and a seductive figure, dressed in black tight clothes, was currently practicing her fists and sending out waves of energy. She was called Qi Xiao and cultivated the heavenly dragon fist. She was ranked second out of the 8 madams and had some power in the 8-day dragon sect, so her authority was greater than that of ordinary madams. Qi Xiao sensed something and coldly yelled, "Who's there? Get out here!" Zhao Fu appeared in the air and smiled as he said, "Sixth madam, you're quite capable to be able to sense my presence." In actuality, it was Zhao Fu who had intentionally leaked his aura, or else even a higher being would not have been able to find Zhao Fu. Qi Xiao looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "Who are you?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Don't ask who I am for now. Do you dare to compete with me, 6th madam? If 6th madam wins, I can help 6th madam do something, such as saving Longyang." Qi Xiao lightly laughed, "No problem." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "6th madam, are you that confident?" Qi Xiao proudly laughed as she said, "Of course. It won't be difficult to defeat you, I only need 5 moves." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "What if I win?" Qi Xiao smiled as she said, "Do whatever you want." Zhao Fu laughed as he said, "All right then. Zhao Fu instantly disappeared and appeared in front of Qi Xiao. Qi Xiao felt quite startled and hurriedly leapt backwards. Zhao Fu did not attack and decided to tease the beautiful middle-aged woman in front of him. Qi Xiao retreated 10 or so meters away and looked at Zhao Fu seriously. She had underestimated this man in front of her. Boom! Qi Xiao punched out and the fist energy turned into a black dragon head that gave off a shocking aura as it shot towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu waved his finger, sending out a sharp sword light that slashed apart the black dragon head, causing it to dissipate into countless traces of aura. Qi Xiao's body appeared in the air, and he punched out with a formidable power towards Zhao Fu. The punch pierced through Zhao Fu's body and Zhao Fu's body dissipated. What he attacked was only an afterimage. Zhao Fu smiled as he appeared behind Qi Xiao. "Sixth Madam's strength is only this much, you can't beat me." Qi Xiao turned and roared in anger, "You dare to play with this old lady." Now Qi Xiao was very clear that Zhao Fu's strength was very terrifying, and the aura that he had just revealed might have been intentional. Zhao Fu didn't explain. He smiled and said, "Sixth Madam, you'd better show me your full strength, or you won't have a chance." Qi Xiao coldly snorts, "There is no need for you to say it." Boom! An explosion sounded out as Qi Xiao gave off a powerful aura, and a black aura flame appeared around her body as a powerful gale blew out. Qi Xiao gathered her power into her fists and punched out. Two massive dragons intersected and gave off shocking power as they flew towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as the two black dragons slammed into Zhao Fu's palm. A powerful shockwave spread out and the two black dragons collapsed. Qi Xiao looked quite shocked. Her full-powered attack had been blocked just like that? Zhao Fu disappeared and appeared in front of Qi Xiao in the next second. He wrapped a hand around Qi Xiao's waist and a wave of power bound her as he smiled and said, "You've lost." Qi Xiao coldly harumphed and did not struggle as she asked, "What do you want?" Zhao Fu used his actions to answer her. A few hours later, Qi Xiao put on her clothes and said coldly, "Don't tell anyone about this or else I definitely won't let you off." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I know, I won't tell anyone." Qi Xiao coldly said, "Why did you come to the 8-Day Dragon sect?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "It's nothing much. I just like the 6th Madam so much that I could not help but sneak over." Qi Xiao coldly harumphed as she said, "I don't believe your nonsense." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "I wonder if I can still come and find the 6th Madam?" Qi Xiao glared at Zhao Fu as she said, "Could it be that you want a second time? Do you believe that I'll skin you alive right now?" Zhao Fu laughed as he said, "6th Madam, it seems that you're not a match for me at all. Also, have you noticed the changes to your body's power and bloodline?" Qi Xiao sensed her body and looked delighted. She found that all of her stats had greatly increased, and she looked at Zhao Fu as she said, "This is all because of you?" Zhao Fu smiled as he nodded. Qi Xiao smiled as she said, "Thank you, but even though I've received such a great increase, there won't be a next time. I can't let my husband down again." Zhao Fu lightly smiled as he said, "In that case, I can only spread this news." Qi Xiao's expression became cold, and she could not help but want to attack Zhao Fu again. However, she remembered that she was not a match for Zhao Fu and that her power had not been sealed yet. Zhao Fu looked at Qi Xiao and smiled as he said, "How about it? Even if you don't agree, it's useless." Qi Xiao rolled her eyes as she said, "You can come and find me, but you definitely can't leak this matter out. Also, let's not stay here in the future. Even though there aren't many people here, it's still possible that we'll be discovered." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I like this place." Qi Xiao let out a breath as she said, "That's fine. I'll give the order for people not to come close in the future. Also, don't come here every day." Zhao Fu smiled as he nodded. Qi Xiao's expression became gentle as she looked at Zhao Fu and said, "With your looks and power, you shouldn't lack women. I wonder what you like about me." Zhao Fu said, I like everything about you. Qi Xiao sweetly said in her heart, I'm going now. You should also leave here and don't let anyone find out. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, if they find out then so be it. In the future we can be together openly. Qi Xiao said, that won't do. Not only will I not have the face to see people in the future, but my faction and reputation in the 8 Days Dragon sect will also be gone. These are the fruits of my many years of hard work, and if you destroy them, I won't let you touch me in the future. Zhao Fu chuckled as he said, I understand. Perhaps I'll give you a pleasant surprise in the future. Qi Xiao asked curiously, what surprise? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, you'll know in the future. Don't ask too much now. Qi Xiao rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu before tidying up and leaving the martial arts field. Zhao Fu continued to look for his next target. Now there were only 2 left, and they were much easier to deal with than Zhao Fu had expected. Following this, Zhao Fu came to a small spring. He had heard that the 7th Madam often came here to freshen up, so it would be easy for Zhao Fu to wait here. However, he had never thought that a man would come here before Zhao Fu. Chapter 3142. Book 1, Chapter 87. What was this person trying to do? Zhao Fu decided to hide for now, and since the man did not discover Zhao Fu wanted to see why the man was hiding here. Soon, a beautiful middle-aged woman with a graceful figure and a holy aura, wearing a white dress, came over to Xiao Quan with 2 beautiful female attendants. She was Madame 7, Xue Roland. Xue Roland was served by the 2 female attendants, and she was about to take off her clothes and enter the spring. The man's eyes were wide open, and his face was filled with infatuation as his heartbeats sped up. His body started to tremble in excitement. Zhao Fu frowned. I feel that this man seems to be peeping. I don't know who this man is, but even the sect leader's 7th Madam dares to peep at him. After thinking for a moment, Zhao Fu picked up a small stone and threw it towards the place where the man was hiding. Clatter! Hearing this sound, Madame 7 was shocked. She coldly looked in that direction and called out, Who's there? The man panicked and wanted to run, but if he came out, he would be seen and recognized. Xue Roland said coldly, If you don't come out, don't blame me for being impolite. The man's expression was unsightly and he hesitated. Zhao Fu hid by the side and watched the show. In the end, the man walked out and said, Big Sister Xue, it's me. Xue Roland looked at the man and said warmly, Why is Long Yu hiding there? This man was called Long Yu, and he was the son of an elder in the 8-Day Dragon sect. Xue Roland was quite close to that elder. Long Yu's face was blank and he could not speak. Looking at him, Xue Roland could guess why he was here and said, Do you know who I am? Aren't you afraid that the sect leader will kill you if he finds out? Long Yu hurriedly looked at Xue Roland and said sincerely, I know, but I really like you. Xue Roland sighed and said, It's impossible between us. I'm the same age as your mother. Long Yu said, I don't mind, I like you. I swear that I'll protect you forever and do anything for you. Xue Roland looked at Long Yu and said, Don't be silly. If word of this gets out, even your mother won't be able to protect you. I'll let it go this time, but if there's a next time, I'll hand you over to your mother. Long Yu had a disappointed look on his face, feeling terrible. He turned around and left. A maid at the side said softly, Madam, are you really going to let him off just like that? I think he's been here more than once. Xue Roland said, He's still young. Perhaps he was impulsive. I have a good relationship with his mother. If I hand him over to someone else, his fate will be terrible. Don't spread this matter. Yes. The 2 maids answered. Chevrolet's body was submerged in the water. She closed her eyes and leaned her head against the side of the spring. 2 maids massaged her shoulders and head. After a while, Xue Roland said, I'll talk to his mother about this later. It's time for Long Yu to find a wife to marry. Suddenly, the hands of the 2 maids stopped. Sherilyn was still a little puzzled, but a pair of hands continued to massage Sherilyn. This feeling was different from before. Sherilyn felt very comfortable, and a look of enjoyment appeared on her face as her body gradually relaxed. However, the pair of hands soon became naughty. Schweroland frowned slightly. He turned his head and saw a man smiling at him. A few hours later, Sherilyn leaned against the side of the spring and looked at the man in front of her. The two maids by her side also looked at Zhao Fu shyly. "Who are you?" Sherilyn asked. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Why should I tell you?" Sherilyn rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu. "You have the cheek to say that? How shameless!" Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, "I am shameless, so what?" Sherilyn angrily looked at Zhao Fu and said, "Then why did you come to the dragon sect?" Zhao Fu smiled and said, "I won't tell you that either." Sherilyn let out a breath and said, "All right, I hope that you won't come again. You can also immediately run, or else you'll die in the dragon sect." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Are you worried about my safety?" Sherilyn said, "Not at all, I just want you to leave quickly." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Then I won't leave, I haven't enjoyed you all enough." The maids by her side said with a red face, "Sir, it's better if you ravage us. Let Madame rest for a while." Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, "Next time. I still have things to do, so I'll be leaving first." After Zhao Fu left, one of the maids said gently, "That lord is so perfect in all aspects, I never thought that I would be able to receive his favor." The other maid nodded with a red face. "How great would it be if that lord could become our man?" Sherilyn said softly, "I'm tired, let's go back." The two maids nodded and asked, "What about that lord?" Sherilyn lightly sighed, "Just pretend that nothing happened." One of the maids said, "I've never seen Madame so happy before. I think that lord is Madame's destined man." Hearing this, Sherilyn's face became slightly red. Not long after the three of them left Shao Quan and returned to the courtyard, a beautiful middle-aged woman with short blue hair and a beautiful figure wearing tight-fitting clothes brought Long Xiao over. She was that elder, Long Xiao's mother, and her name was Long Lanya. After Long Xiao had returned in a panic, Long Lanya could tell what had happened just by looking at Long Xiao's expression. Under Long Lanya's interrogation, Long Xiao had told her what had happened. After hearing about this, Long Lanya was furious and brought her son to Sherilyn's courtyard. "Kneel," Long Lanya said. Hearing this, Long Xiao knelt on the ground in fear. Long Lanya took out a stick and prepared to hit Long Xiao. Sherilyn hurriedly stopped Long Lanya and said, "What are you doing?" Long Lanya said angrily, "This boy dared to have such thoughts about you, I'm going to kill him right now. It's my fault for not teaching him well, so I should apologize to you." Schweroland said, "Let bygones be bygones. Long, you promised me that there wouldn't be a next time. Let's let him off this time." Long Lanya was still angry. "You and I have such a good relationship, so this matter has not been leaked. If he still has ideas about other madams, then the consequences will be unimaginable. Today I must teach him a lesson." Long Yu said, "I only like the seventh madam. I will never like other women." Long Lanya hit Long Xiao with her rod and said angrily, "You still dare to say that?" Snowy Roland said, "All right. Don't make a big deal out of this. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to deal with." Long Lanya coldly harumphed and said to Long Yu, "I'll spare you this time, but if there's a next time, I'll break your legs." Long Xiao said in fear, "I got it." Schweroland smiled. As Long Yu looked at the snow-white orchid, she felt that it was even more beautiful than before, and her heart started beating uncontrollably. He liked the Chevrolet even more than before. Chapter 3143. Book 1, Chapter 88. Long Lanya asked curiously, "Lan, why do I feel like you've changed a lot?" Xuelan's face became slightly red as she thought of Zhao Fu. She understood that this change was the result of going crazy with Zhao Fu, so she explained, "It's nothing. I just feel a bit uncomfortable and I'll go rest for a while." Long Lanya smiled as she said, I won't disturb you then. Following this, Long Lanya and Long Lanya left. On the way, Long Lanya looked at Long Yu and asked caringly, Did Mom hurt you? Long Yu shook her head. Long Lanya said lovingly, I'm doing this for your own good. If news of this spreads, you'll lose your life. Long Yu replied, I know. Long Lanya smiled as she said, That's good. In the future, you can have any woman you want, as long as it's not a few wives. Long Yu lightly nodded as he thought about Xuelon. However, he didn't know that his beloved, the goddess that he could only look up to, had been tainted by that scumbag, Zhao Fu. By now, Zhao Fu had found the last wife. Her name was Li Lian, and she gave off a noble aura. She wore a silver-white palace dress, and her hands were tied up by Zhao Fu and hung in the air. Li Lian angrily cursed, Bastard! Do you know who I am? Li Lian had been looking at the information she had collected about Qin, and after looking at it, she felt that Qin was incredibly powerful. She planned to persuade the sect master to destroy Qin Lai, or else they wouldn't have another chance in the future. As for Long Yang's life, she felt that he could be sacrificed, and she couldn't let the dragon sect be destroyed just because of him. However, just as she was about to leave, Zhao Fu rushed in and tied her hands, hanging her in the air. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, Of course I know who you are. 8th Madam, guess who I am? Li Lian coldly harumphed, How would I know? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, I'll give you a hint. What were you looking at? Li Lian was greatly shocked and cried out, You're Qin's woman? How dare you barge into the dragon sect? How dare you? Zhao Fu chuckled, I'm still the master of Qin. Li Lian was even more shocked. Why does the master of Qin dare to come to the dragon sect? Isn't he afraid of falling into the hands of the dragon sect? As long as it falls into the hands of the dragon sect, the Qin state will fall into a great disadvantage. Does she know that the current Qin state is established by the master of the Qin state and has unparalleled prestige? Li Lian asked, Why did you come to my dragon sect? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, I think you're a smart person, so I'll tell you why I'm here to destroy the 8-day dragon sect. Li Lian said, I don't believe it. The dragon sect isn't something you can destroy just because you want to. Zhao Fu smiled and said, The sect master's 7 wives are already under my control. You're the 8th. As long as I control the 8 of you and get rid of the sect master, the dragon sect will fall under my control. Of course there might be some resistance, but I'll slowly get rid of them. Li Lian looked at Zhao Fu and said seriously, When will you control the 7 wives? Zhao Fu smiled confidently as he said, If I'm discovered by you, wouldn't my plan be exposed? Also, there's no need for me to lie to you. I'm sure you know what decision to make. I know you're ambitious, and this is an opportunity. Li Lian started to think and said after a while, Put me down. Zhao Fu waved his hand and the chains binding Li Lian loosened, and Li Lian landed on the ground. Zhao Fu sat on a chair and smiled as he said, Come here. Li Lian gave a trace of a smile and walked over to serve Zhao Fu. After a while, Li Lian lay in Zhao Fu's embrace and lightly smiled as he said, I completely trust you now. You can't let me down. Zhao Fu hugged Li Lian and smiled as he said, I won't let you down. Li Lian smiled as he asked, What's your next plan? Zhao Fu said, You don't have to worry about it for now and just wait patiently. Now that the sect master's cultivation technique has been broken by me, his ability to share the damage has disappeared. It'll be very easy for me to deal with him, and I already have a way to deal with him. Li Lian nodded. That night the moonlight was like water. Ziyuan sat quietly on a stone stool in a courtyard. A figure appeared behind Ziyuan and held her in his embrace. Ziyuan turned to look at Zhao Fu and did not refuse as she asked, So soon? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, This matter is very simple for me. Did you miss me? Ziyuan coldly said, I missed you a little. Zhao Fu carried Ziyuan and walked to the side. Late at night, Zi Yuan nestled in Zhao Fu's embrace and said, "What are you going to do next?" Zhao Fu said, "I'll find a chance to deal with the sect master." Zi Yuan looked at Zhao Fu. "Promise me that you'll let him live." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, I know. If the sect master dies, I'm worried that the 8 of you won't be able to control the dragon sect. If the sect master doesn't die, he'll have a deterrent effect, although the other people in the sect will have other ideas." Zhao Fu stretched out his hand and lifted Zion's chin as he said, "You're the person I trust the most now, so don't disappoint me." Zi Yuan lightly nodded. Zhao Fu started to prepare to deal with the sect master. He had long since prepared to use the nihility bitter poison. This poison was something that Zhao Fu had obtained from the Fire Kingdom. It was extremely rare and terrifying, and even higher beings would find it hard to remove it. The method of using the poison was also very secretive and almost impossible to detect, so using it to deal with the sect master should be no problem. If Zhao Fu personally acted, it would be easy for the dragon sect's fate to sense it. At that time, it would be Zhao Fu who would be in danger. Zhao Fu was not in a rush to act, and he instead waited for a good opportunity to act. On that day, Zhao Fu once again came to Qin Xiaojiao's room. When Qin Xiaojiao saw Zhao Fu, she felt quite happy because she had waited for a few days. However, she still said coldly, "You still dare to come? I'm going to kill you." Qin Xiaojiao took out a small knife and stabbed towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu waved his hand and sent the knife flying. He hugged Qin Xiaojiao and smiled as he said, "I'm here to tell you something." Qin Xiaojiao lightly struggled and asked, "What is it?" Zhao Fu told Qin Xiaojiao about himself and his identity. After hearing this, Qin Xiaojiao's face became pale. She had never thought that the matter would be so serious. Qin Xiaojiao looked at Zhao Fu and said, "You have to promise me that you won't harm the dragon sex people. I've already let my man down, and I don't want to let him down even more." Zhao Fu said softly, "I can promise you, but you have to listen to me." Qin Xiaojiao hugged Zhao Fu and smiled as she said, "No problem." Chapter 3144. Book 1, Chapter 89. The sect master felt uneasy and worried about Long Yang's safety. On this day, the sect master gathered the 8 madams together. After a few days of Zhao Fu's help, the 8 madams had become incredibly beautiful. They were like ripe fruits that people could not help but want to have a taste of. However, facing the sect master, the 8 madams still felt guilty. Zi Yuan softly asked, "What did you call us here for?" The sect master sighed, "Qin hasn't replied and I'm worried about Long Er's safety. I want to personally go to Qin." "Why are you still going to Great Qin?" "Great Qin's master is in the dragon sect and bullies your 8 wives every day and night." That was what Zi Yuan thought to herself as she said, "Long Yang is fine, don't worry." The sect master said, "He's in Qin's hands, so how can I not worry? This Qin is very cruel to his enemies." Zi Yuan still wanted to persuade the sect master, but if she continued, she might reveal something. As such, Zi Yuan did not say anything else. Qin Xiaojiao could not help but say, "Sect master, you don't need to go. Long Yang will be fine." The sect master looked at Qin Xiaojiao strangely. "How do you know that Long Yang will be fine? Do you know something?" Qin Xiaojiao shook her head and said, "I don't know, it's just a feeling." The sect master let out a breath and said, "All right, I'll be leaving soon. You guys will be in charge of the sect's matters for now. If there's anything you can't handle, leave it to me." The women nodded. The sect master smiled and said, "I also want to leave for half a month. I'll make it up to you guys now so that you won't miss me." Qin Xiaojiao was not used to this. She had clearly felt comfortable in his embrace before, so why was it like this? Qin Xiaowan did not know either. She lightly broke free from the sect master's embrace and said softly, "Go early and come back early." The sect master felt quite strange. The other beautiful women's faces became slightly red. Right now, they just wanted to be like Zhao Fu and not the sect master. After all, the sect master was their man. Ziwewan said softly, "Hurry and go." The sect master looked at the girls in surprise and said, "You guys don't need me?" Qi Shao couldn't help but want to go to the martial field and said, "I don't want to, go quickly." Hearing this, the sect leader was a little disappointed and said, "All right, I'll be leaving then." After taking a few steps, the sect leader's body suddenly trembled and he coughed up a mouthful of blood before collapsing to the ground. The girls were shocked and hurried forward to take a look. Ziwewan checked the sect master's body and said solemnly, "He's poisoned." Qin Xiaojiao's expression was ugly. "What's going on? He was fine just now. How did he get poisoned?" Qi Xiao felt strange and said, "I didn't feel anything just now. Could it be that he ate something before?" Min said softly, "That is indeed possible. However, this poison is really scary. To think that it could poison a grandmaster without anyone noticing." Mu Qingran said solemnly, "We must quickly find a way to detoxify the poison. Right now, his life force is quickly fading and he will die soon." Lan Qinshui said, "I have already checked, this poison is very powerful, with our abilities we are unable to cure it." Min asked softly, "Then what should we do?" Ziwewan looked at the door and said coldly, "Hurry up and come out." A light laugh sounded out as a person walked in. When the girls saw the man who walked in, their faces slightly reddened. Some of them knew who Zhao Fu was, while others did not. Some of them did not even know that Zhao Fu had already taken all the wives. Qi Shao had wanted to go to the martial field with Zhao Fu for a private date, but looking at the girls' expressions, she understood the relationship between Zhao Fu and the other women. Shui Lulan felt somewhat disappointed. She had thought that Zhao Fu had only done that with her. Min Qingqing was somewhat angry. Zhao Fu, that bastard, had actually taken all 8 wives. The girls all had different thoughts. Ziwewan said coldly, "Didn't you promise me that you wouldn't kill him? How can you do this?" Zhao Fu said with a light laugh, "He's not dead yet, is he?" Zhao Fu used the nail of his thumb to cut open the nail of his middle finger, and blood flowed out of the wound. Zhao Fu flicked his hand and a drop of blood flew out and entered the sect master's body, quickly suppressing the nothingness bitter poison in his body. When the girls saw this, they all heaved a sigh of relief. Qi Shao said angrily, "You cheated on my feelings, I thought that you only liked me." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "I like all of them, that's the truth." Ziwewan asked, "What do you plan to do next?" Zhao Fu said with a smile, "Get rid of the dissidents and take control of the 8-day dragon sect." Ziwewan said in a deep voice, "Do you know how much turmoil this will cause? Regardless of the outcome, the 8-day dragon sect's strength will definitely be weakened." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "Of course I know this, but do you think that I will keep a group of people who constantly listen to me? Also, I have to do this, so don't try to change my mind." Ziwewan's face was cold, and she was naturally very dissatisfied with this outcome. When the others thought of this, their expressions also became ugly. Mu Qingran sighed. She also understood that this matter could not be changed. She said softly, "I hope that you can be merciful and not kill too many innocent people." Zhao Fu nodded. He continued, "I need information about the others, and you can collect their information for me. Also, prepare a list of those people that you don't want to hurt, and I will try not to hurt them." These words made the girls feel better. Min said softly, "Then we'll go and prepare?" Zhao Fu smiled, "Wait, come and serve me first." The girls' faces turned red and they rolled their eyes at Zhao Fu, but they did not refuse Zhao Fu and obediently went to serve Zhao Fu. The next day, Zhao Fu rested on Ziwewan's knees and looked at the information in his hands. As a faction that had existed for a long time, the relationships within the faction were very complicated. Apart from the sect master, there were also 8 elders with extremely high statuses and great power. They usually did not show themselves, and very few people knew about them. Their cultivation had already surpassed the world realm, and they were the 8-day dragon sect's hidden power. This made Zhao Fu feel quite surprised, as he had not heard about them before and had only heard about them from Zi Wewan and the others. In actuality, this was related to the 8-day dragon sect's legacy. The 8 great elders were the 8 wives of the previous 8-day dragon school's sect master. They still held the 8-day dragon school's inheritance, and the current sect master had obtained the inheritance from them, becoming the new sect master. If the next sect master were to appear, these 8 elders would also die. Zi Wewan and the other 8 beautiful women would replace them as the new great elders. Chapter 3145. Book 1, Chapter 90. If they died, they would lose 8 top-notch experts, so they had to wait for Zi Wewan and the others' cultivation to reach a certain realm. In actuality, Zi Wewan and the others' cultivation was not low, and the previous generation's 8 elders might die in a few years. This was the 8-day dragon school's tradition, and it was passed down from generation to generation. Why was it that the previous sect master had died, but the 8 of them were still alive? Zhao Fu was also very curious. After asking around, he found out that the reason was mainly related to the 8-day dragon school's 8-dragon cave. The 8-dragon cave could allow the 8 elders to live for a very long time, but that elder had to stay in the 8-dragon cave often. If he left the 8-dragon cave, he would age quickly, and if he did not return for a long time, he would die. This was also why he rarely saw them. After getting rid of the sect master, he might not be able to control the 8-day dragon school, because the others would still listen to the 8 elders' orders. Zhao Fu said, "Bring me to the 8-dragon cave." Zi Wewan said in surprise, "You're going just like that?" Those 8 elders' strength has already surpassed the heaven and earth realm, and they have a very strong support in the 8-dragon cave. Zhao Fu said confidently, "Don't worry, just bring me there." Zi Wewan thought about it and nodded. Zi Wewan brought Zhao Fu to a large cave that led underground. It was only dozens of meters wide, and had stone bricks covering the ground and walls. Before, there had been many soldiers guarding this place, but Zi Wewan had called those people away. Zhao Fu jumped down and went more than 1,000 meters underground. He arrived at a very large cave that was tens of thousands of meters wide. It was not dark inside, and there were many crystal stones illuminating the cave. At the bottom of the cave was a platform made of bricks, and there was a massive and dignified dragon head at the center. It looked as if it was alive, and looking at Zhao Fu, who was descending, it gave off a chilling feeling. Of course, this did not affect Zhao Fu at all. There were 8 large holes in the wall, and each hole had 2 exquisitely carved stone dragons. The holes gave off light. Zhao Fu landed on the dignified and huge dragon head. Before he could do anything, the 8 holes shot out dazzling lights, and 8 figures appeared in front of Zhao Fu. They looked to be a bit older than Zi Wewan and the others, around 38 or 39 years old. They were all very beautiful, and their temperaments were even more mature than Zi Wewan and the others. The most mature woman asked, "You're the next successor of the 8-day dragon school?" Zhao Fu was stunned, not understanding why she thought Zhao Fu was the successor of the day dragon school. A pure and beautiful woman asked curiously, "Why not Long Yang?" "He's the son of the sect leader, and he also cultivates the 8-day dragon sect's inherited cultivation method." "What happened?" Another beautiful woman said, "We've been staying here. Perhaps something big has happened outside. I think his talent is far more outstanding than Long Yang's. He's more suitable to become the 8-day dragon school's successor." A gentle-looking woman smiled as she said, "I think so too. The 8-dragon power within his body is countless times that of Long Yang. Very few people in our 8 days dragon sect can do this." Hearing these words, Zhao Fu felt very confused. Since when did he have the power of 8 dragons? Suddenly, Zhao Fu thought of Zi Wewan and the 16 princesses from before. They were all women that the 8 Days Dragon sect had carefully chosen in order to cultivate the 8 Days Dragon sect's legacy art. They would also be of help to the sect master. For example, they could increase their cultivation and share the damage. They also knew how to cultivate cultivation techniques, and perhaps it was because of this that Zhao Fu had this kind of power. Long Yang was the most aggrieved. The 2 generations of princesses that he had found were all taken by Zhao Fu, and his father's 8 princesses were also taken by Zhao Fu. After Zhao Fu understood all of this, he smiled and said, "That's right, I am the next successor. Long Yang has already been killed by Qin's people, and I am the new successor." The mature woman revealed a relieved smile. "We've waited for so long, and we can finally be free. We don't have to stay in this cave anymore." The beautiful woman also said with a smile, We can finally be free. We've been waiting for too long." The quiet and beautiful woman said with longing, "Our husbands have been dead for so long, but now we can go and accompany him." The bright and lively woman laughed. "To me, this is undoubtedly the happiest thing. I've long since grown tired of staying here, and with my personality, it's even worse than death." The women all looked quite happy and were not afraid of death at all, as it was a type of release. The mature woman smiled as she said, "Now, we will give you all of the 8-Day Dragon School's legacy. You must grasp it within a year, because we will die within that year." Zhao Fu said sadly, "I don't want you to die." The mature woman lightly laughed as she said, "Looks like you're a person who values friendship. Don't be sad for us. This is a release for us. We don't have any other requests, and we just want you to bring glory to the Dragon School." Zhao Fu shook his head. "I'll do my best to protect your lives. There are many interesting things in this world that you won't be able to experience if you die." The bright and beautiful woman lightly laughed as she said, "I know, but we can't leave the Dragon School for too long. Right now, this is our cage. I quite admire you, but it's a pity that I can't watch you grow." The quiet and beautiful woman smiled as she said, I feel that your personality is better than Long Yang's. That fellow doesn't care about us." The beautiful woman lightly laughed as she said, "I also like you a lot, don't disappoint us." The beautiful women all felt quite good about Zhao Fu, but they did not know that Zhao Fu lusted after their bodies. The mature woman smiled as she said, "All right, there's no need to say any more. Don't say any more, just accept the clothes we give you." Hearing this, Zhao Fu was not interested in the 8-Day Dragon School's legacy at all. To Zhao Fu it was too weak, and it could even be called trash. Zhao Fu lightly smiled as he said, "How will you give me the legacy?" The mature woman smiled as she said, "It's very simple. We'll condense all of the legacy into 8-day spirit pills. You just need to open your mouth and eat them." Zhao Fu thought about it before smiling as he said, "Sure." The 8 beautiful women put their palms together and their expressions became serious. All of their power gathered in their palms, and their palms gave off a blinding light. An incredibly powerful ripple spread out. Their hands, which had been put together, slowly opened up. Power continuously gathered in their palms, forming a small ball that was the size of a thumb. Although it looked small, the power it emitted was very strong. The mature woman said, "Now, prepare to eat the 8-day spirit pill. The process is quite difficult, so you need to be prepared." Chapter 3146. Book 1, Chapter 91 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Micir. The 8 beautiful women stretched out their hands, and the orbs of light between their palms flew towards Zhao Fu and gathered in front of Zhao Fu's mouth. Zhao Fu opened his mouth, and the 8 orbs of light entered Zhao Fu's mouth. A massive wave of searing heat spread out from Zhao Fu's body, and if anyone else came into contact with this kind of energy, they would be burned. However, things were different for Zhao Fu. This energy did not affect Zhao Fu at all. However, Zhao Fu acted as if he was in great pain and fell to the ground, struggling. This caused the 8 beautiful women to feel quite startled, and they hurriedly went up to check Zhao Fu's body. However, they were pressed down by Zhao Fu's body. On the third day, the mature woman said with a red face, "You're quite a scoundrel, you even had ideas about us." The sunny woman lightly harumphed, "And to think that I had a good impression of you before." The beautiful woman laughed as she said, "In actuality, I feel that this is quite good, we haven't been this happy in a long time. Since we only have a year to live, we might as well be impudent for once." The gentle-looking woman said, "But we can't reveal this matter." The mature woman said, "All right then. After all, we only have a year, so it's fine if we use this year to enjoy ourselves." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Can I say something?" The mature woman said, "Stinking brat, what do you want to say?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I said that I won't let you die, so I won't let you die." The beautiful woman sighed as she said, "I know you don't want to, but this is our fate. You can't change it." The pure woman said, "It feels quite good to meet you in our final moments, don't feel sad for us." The mature woman said, "You're powerless to change this. Even if you delay the next generation of elders from entering the dragon cave, it's useless because the dragon cave won't give us any more power. In the end, we'll still die, so don't waste your energy." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "It's just a mere dragon cave. Sense your bodies. Do you feel a powerful wave of life force?" Hearing this, the women sensed the changes within their bodies, and expressions of shock appeared on their faces. The mature woman called out, "When did you do it?" Zhao Fu chuckled and said, "Just now, with the support of my life force, you can now leave the dragon cave. In the future, you won't be restricted by the dragon cave and can go anywhere you want." The gentle-looking woman said in shock, "This life force is indeed very terrifying, it's dozens of times that of the dragon cave. It can indeed allow us to not be restricted by the dragon cave. Now we don't have to die, nor do we have to stay in the dragon cave." Everyone was overjoyed. They had never thought that the situation would take such a turn. The beautiful woman looked at her body and smiled as she said, "I just found that my life force has increased and I've become a few years younger. My skin has become so good." Another beautiful woman smiled and said, "Me too. If you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have noticed." All the girls discovered that they had become younger and more energetic. The mature woman looked at Zhao Fu seriously and said, "I don't think you're from the 8-Day Dragon sect, right?" Hearing this, the women looked at Zhao Fu. Everything made them feel that Zhao Fu was quite strange, and was not as simple as he seemed. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Have you noticed?" Hearing this, the women's expressions became serious. They had taken an outsider to be the 8-Day Dragon sect's legatee, and they had even given their legatees to Zhao Fu. Why was an outsider here? The mature woman said coldly, "Who are you?" Zhao Fu did not hide anything, as they would find out once they went out. He smiled as he said, "I'm the leader of Qin City, and I've come to destroy the 8-Day Dragon sect." The women felt as if their minds had exploded. Not only was this man not the legatee of the Dragon sect, but he was also someone who had come to destroy the 8-Day Dragon sect. They stared at this scene in disbelief. The mature woman immediately acted, wanting to kill Zhao Fu. However, her body collapsed to the ground, and her face became bright red. The other women understood that the trace of life force that Zhao Fu had given them would also control them. The women's faces became pale, and they did not know what to do. Zhao Fu stopped the power within the mature woman's body and smiled as he said, "All right, let's go out together. Let's go out together." The mature woman returned to normal and said with a cold expression, "What do you want to do next?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "You'll find out soon. Also, all of you better be obedient. I don't want to hurt you, but don't force me." The mature woman coldly harumphed as she said, "You're still so kind?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "If I wanted to kill you, I would have done so long ago. I would not have kept you alive until now, nor would I have sacrificed my source life force so that you would not be restricted by the dragon cave. I like you all. Hearing these words, the women's expressions became gentle. There was indeed no need for Zhao Fu to do such a thing. It seemed that he liked them. The mature woman said softly, "Don't think that we'll obey you just like that." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "I know." Everyone left the dragon cave. Ziyuan waited outside for a few days and watched as Zhao Fu came out with the 8 great elders. The 8 great elders had rosy faces and charming temperaments. Needless to say, what Zhao Fu had done in the next few days. Ziyuan also glared at Zhao Fu. Now, the new, early, middle, and late generation princesses had all been obtained by Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu slightly smiled and said, "Have you been waiting here the entire time?" Ziyuan ignored Zhao Fu and bowed to the great elders. "Greetings, elders." Ziyuan still respected these 8 elders because she had seen many of them when she was young and received help and guidance from them. The mature woman smiled and said, "Long time no see. Little one, you haven't changed at all." Ziyuan glanced at Su Bai and said, "Elders, why did you come out of the dragon cave? Didn't it affect you?" The mature woman turned her head to look at Zhao Fu and said, "We don't have to be restricted by the dragon cave in the future." Ziyuan looked surprised, thought for a moment, and looked at him. "Is it because of you?" Zhao Fu nodded. "It's just a small matter, it's not difficult for me," Ziyuan said softly. "Thank you." This time, Ziyuan was sincerely grateful to Zhao Fu. Not only did Zhao Fu let the 8 elders be unrestricted, but he also changed her fate. Because the 8 elders died, the 8 of them would enter the dragon cave and become new elders. Zhao Fu was also a little surprised. He smiled and hugged her and began to tease her. Seeing the scene in front of them, the many great elders also understood what kind of situation the 8 Days Dragon sect was in now. They were afraid that the sect only existed in name, and they could not change anything. Now, the sect master's wife was being played by others. Chapter 3147. Book 1, Chapter 92 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Meiker. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Let's go." They came to a large hall, and Zhao Fu called the other madams over and smiled as he said, "It's time for the purge. I'll get rid of everyone who doesn't listen to your orders." Hearing this, Li Xinling said, "That's good. I'm sure most people will listen to our orders, and there won't be too many casualties." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Don't worry, I'll do my best not to harm the people you care about." Hearing this, the women all nodded. Under the madams and great elders' orders, the 8-Day Dragon sect gathered all of its forces and sealed itself off, forbidding anyone from entering or leaving. Ordinary people felt quite confused. What was going on? Some sharp-witted people felt that something was off, but they did not know why the sect was doing this, so they became more cautious. The purge began. Groups of soldiers rushed into the buildings one by one, arresting and killing the people inside. Facing the purge, there were naturally people who resisted. They gathered together and formed 7 or 8 powerful factions, and they started to fight against the 8-Day Dragon sect. The people in the sect were quite restless. They felt quite uneasy. Long Lanya and a few elders came to the front of the hall and said, "We want to see the sect master." Now that such a big thing had happened, the sect master had not appeared, which made them feel quite strange. However, they did not think too much about it, as the madam and great elder were both present and the orders had been given by them. Shui Roland said, "Since you can't see the sect master, you should go back." Long Lanya said, "What happened? Why can't we see the sect master? Why are you doing this? Originally, our sect was flourishing, but now we are constantly having internal strife, and our strength is constantly declining." The other elders looked at Shui Roland, wanting her to give them an answer. However, Shui Roland still said, "Don't ask about this and just stay at home. Those rebels will be eliminated soon, so don't do anything stupid, or else you'll all die. I won't be able to protect you." Hearing this, the expressions of the few people became serious. They were all on good terms with Schwer-Roland, and they were protected by Schwer-Roland. Now that Schwer-Roland had said this, they did not dare to ask any further in order to avoid falling into this whirlpool. The few elders left, but Long Lanya stayed behind. She had the best relationship with Schwer-Roland, and she wanted to ask what had happened in the sect. However, out of her expectations, Snow Violet sighed and said, "I'm sorry, I can't tell you." Long Lanya asked with concern, "Why?" Chevrolet shook her head. At that moment, a man's voice sounded out, "If she wants to know, let her in." Schwer-Roland's expression changed as she said, "Hurry up and leave." Long Lanya had a strange look on her face. Why was there a man's voice in the hall? This voice was unfamiliar to him. Also, why would Schwer-Roland, as the sect mistress, be afraid of the man inside? Was all of this related to that man? The man's voice came from the hall again, "Roland, bring her along with you." Schwer-Roland sighed when she heard this. "We're going in. It's too late for you to leave now." Long Lanya nodded her head. She was also very curious in her heart, who was the person inside. They entered the hall. Long Lanya's expression was one of shock as she saw the first elder and the sect master's first madam serving a man, and there were other elders and madams around them. Zhao Fu looked at Long Lanya and said, "You come as well." Long Lanya came back to her senses and said coldly, "Who are you? How dare you do such a shameless and filthy thing in our sect?" Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and grabbed, and a wave of power pulled Long Lanya in front of him. On the other side, a large number of the sect's soldiers started to attack the rebel factions. Even though these factions were not weak, facing the sect master's forces, they were still quite weak. They could easily destroy them, so Zhao Fu did not mind them too much. People were dragged onto the execution platform and their heads were chopped off, causing blood to flow everywhere. Their corpses were hung on the city walls, shocking everyone. A few days later, after the purge, the sect gradually returned to normal. Those who remained all obeyed the first elder and the sect master's first madam's orders, and no one resisted. Of course, it was possible that they suppressed their dissatisfaction and did not show it. Zhao Fu had taken control of the 8-day dragon sect, and Qin's strength had once again increased. Moreover, no one else knew about this. 2 of the royal kingdom's armies were now under Qin's control, and they could be counted as spies. The Fire Kingdom had been quite effective last time, and with the 8-day dragon sect, they would be able to harm a few more factions. Zhao Fu felt that there was nothing to fear about the royal kingdom's alliance at all, and Qin would destroy them sooner or later. After dealing with these matters, Zhao Fu planned to return to Qin. First Elder Li Xinling said, "You're going back so soon?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, That's my home. In the future, take care of the 8-day dragon sect. After this internal conflict, the sect has lost a lot of battle power, and you need to quickly make up for it." Li Xinling nodded. "As Great Zhao's elder, I will definitely strengthen the sect." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "If there's anything you can't solve, you can go to Qin to find me." Zi Yuan asked, "Sect Master, what do you plan to do?" Zhao Fu said, "He will be fine. I will let him sleep. If he wakes up, he might not be able to accept the current situation and will fall into great pain." Zi Yuan agreed with Zhao Fu and asked, "What about my son? Is it possible to release him?" Zhao Fu said with a smile, "I think he'd better stay in Qin now. If you miss him, you can go to Qin to see him." Zi Yuan frowned and said softly, "I want him to come back. I promise he won't cause any trouble." Zhao Fu began to ponder. Zi Yuan pleaded, "Please." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Sure, remember your promise." Zi Yuan finally smiled and said, "Thank you, husband." Zhao Fu nodded in satisfaction. Mu Qingran said softly, "I wanted to leave with you, but I don't think that's necessary anymore. In the future, come to the dragon sect more often. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, do you have anything else? Long Lanya asked curiously, just what is your cultivation? Everyone felt quite curious. They wanted to know just how powerful Zhao Fu was. Facing Zhao Fu, they could not resist at all. Zhao Fu calmly replied, Void Realm Cultivation. Everyone looked shocked. They had never thought that Zhao Fu's cultivation would be so high. No one in the entire ancient STEM domain could surpass him. Chapter 3148. Book 1, Chapter 93. After returning from the 8-day dragon sect, Zhao Fu went to the prison. Long Yang was locked up in the prison and leaned against the wall. His clothes were in tatters and his hair was in a mess, and he looked quite wretched. Zhao Fu walked over and smiled as he said, You can leave Qin now. Long Yang hatefully looked at Zhao Fu and said, You're so kind as to let me go? I don't believe your nonsense. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile as he looked at Long Yang and said, It's all thanks to your mother and the others that you're able to leave. Long Yang's expression was quite unsightly as he furiously cried out, What did you do to them? Zhao Fu evilly laughed as he said, What do you think? You should thank them, or else I won't let you off. Bastard! Long Yang furiously rushed over and vigorously slammed his hands on the prison door like a beast, wanting to rush out and turn Zhao Fu into minced meat. Zhao Fu smiled as he looked at the berserk Long Yang and stretched out a hand as countless traces of black aura floated towards Long Yang and flowed into his head. Long Yang's furious expression gradually disappeared, and his gaze became hazy. Even though Long Yang was no longer a threat to Zhao Fu, he would still cause trouble. As such, Zhao Fu had not only sealed his power but also his intelligence. Now, he only had the intelligence of a 7- or 8-year-old child, and his memories would remain the same as when he was 7 or 8 years old. If he did not do anything and just let Long Yang go, Zhao Fu would not be at ease. Long Yang hated Zhao Fu to the core, and his greatest wish was to kill Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu called over a few soldiers and said, Take Long Yang back to the dragon sect. Yes. The soldiers obeyed and opened the prison door before taking the dumbfounded Long Yang out of the prison. After dealing with these matters, Zhao Fu sent people to collect information about the water domain and the aquatic race's imperial star. Now that the Qin Empire was at peace and there was no war, all Qin Empire needed to do was to comfort and develop. With the strength of Qin Empire, Zhao Fu didn't need to worry too much. It was time to prepare for the awakening of the last star. Li Si walked into the palace, bowed and smiled as he said, Your Majesty! It's almost time for the imperial examinations. I wonder if Your Majesty will be able to attend in person? Zhao Fu said with a smile, so fast. Li Si said with a smile, His Majesty was busy and didn't stay in Qin for long. That's why he had such a feeling. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, I haven't been in Qin City for long. I still have to awaken the water race's imperial star, and will be leaving Qin City soon. Li Si was taken aback. Your Majesty, you're leaving so soon? Zhao Fu nodded. I only have one imperial star left, and if I can awaken it, I will have all of the race's imperial stars. When that time comes, I will be able to become the true Lord of the Heaven Awakened world and have the right to unify the Heaven Awakened world. This is incredibly important to Qin City. Li Si smiled as he said, I believe that Your Majesty can become the Lord of the Heaven Awakened world. Your Majesty is someone blessed by the heavens. Zhao Fu lightly laughed. When did you say the imperial examinations would begin? I can leave after the imperial examinations. Li Si smiled as he said, The imperial examinations will begin in 4 days. If the scholars know that Your Majesty is participating, they will definitely be delirious with joy and feel incredibly honored. Zhao Fu nodded. Then I'll leave after the imperial examinations. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as the heavens and earth greatly changed. Winds and clouds quickly swirled as an indescribably powerful aura spread out. This caused all living beings to feel incredibly small and weak, as well as a deep sense of powerlessness. No matter where they were in the heaven-awakened world, everyone's expressions changed as they looked up at the sky. Zhao Fu's expression was quite serious as he walked outside and looked up at the sky. What was going on in the heaven-awakened world? Why were there such terrifying ripples? This had nothing to do with Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu was also quite shocked. The source of those ripples came from the air at the center of the heaven-awakened world. There were 8 different colored crystals floating in the air, giving off boundless rainbow-colored lights. Those lights flashed through the various worlds, illuminating the entire heaven-awakened world, causing the sky to become a rainbow-colored world. It was incredibly beautiful. The heaven-awakened world's source energy quickly gathered towards the center of the heaven-awakened world, and it was most evident at the boundary of the world. Some plants lost their vitality, and some even showed signs of withering. The people and beasts at the boundary also sensed that the heaven and earth power had become weaker, and the spirit chi had become thinner. This caused countless people's expressions to become quite unsightly. After all, spirit chi was the foundation of cultivation, and if spirit chi became thinner, it would be even more difficult for them to cultivate. What was even more terrifying was that the spirit grasses and spirit fruits also required spirit chi to grow, and if spirit chi became thinner, it would be even more difficult for them to grow. Some spirit grasses and spirit fruits that required spirit chi would not be able to absorb spirit chi and would die. This was a heavy blow to everyone. Apart from cultivating, eating spirit medicines was a shortcut to increasing one's cultivation, but now that this shortcut was gone, it would be even more difficult for those who cultivated. This was because the boundary regions did not have much spirit chi to begin with, and now that so much spirit chi had suddenly disappeared, the effects were quite evident. It was not just the boundary regions that were affected. The central region and the heaven domain were also affected. This change caused everyone's expressions to become quite unsightly, as this meant that their lives in the future would be even more difficult. The amount of world energy that Qin controlled did not decrease, as Qin had broken free from the heaven-awakened world's control and was now an independent world. The instant that ripple spread out, Qin's sealing heaven-suppressing earth formation was activated, and the Heaven Book, Earth Book, and Human Book gave off powerful ripples to prevent Qin from being affected by the heaven-awakened world. However, this was not a good thing for Qin, and he was affected as well. Even though Qin's world energy did not decrease, Qin would normally gather spirit chi from other worlds to speed up his cultivation and the growth of spirit items. Now that the boundary region's spirit chi was so weak, Qin could not gather much, and this affected Qin greatly. Qin's heaven realm and earth realm were not affected at all, as the heaven realm could absorb celestial chi from the celestial world and the earth realm could absorb ruins of end energy. The human realm was too reliant on the heaven-awakened world, so it was greatly affected. Comparatively speaking, Qin's situation in the boundary regions was much better. The others did not have the sealing heaven-suppressing earth formation. In the future, it would be more difficult for them to cultivate, and their growth would become weaker. The massive source energy gathered entered the 8 massive crystals, causing them to give off an even more intense light, and the light from the rainbow-colored sky became even more blinding. A sense of unease and anxiety appeared in the hearts of countless people in the heaven-awakened world. Even though they did not know what was happening, they were sure that it was not good. Chapter 3149. Book 1. Chapter 94. As the world's source energy continuously flowed into the 8 energy stones, the spirit chi became thinner and thinner, and more plants withered. Everyone could not help but feel worried and afraid. If there was no spirit chi here, how would they survive? Luckily, the gathering of heaven and earth power gradually stopped, and everyone let out a sigh of relief. If there was no spirit chi here, They could only leave the place where they had lived for countless years and go to a place with spirit chi. The rainbow-colored light from the 8 energy stones dimmed before returning to normal. Before everyone could relax, a string of system announcements sounded out, stabbing into countless people's minds. System announcement. The Heaven Awaken world's defensive barrier has disappeared, and outlanders from other worlds can enter the Heaven Awaken world to fight. System announcement. The Heaven Awaken world is unable to fight in the Outlander world. System announcement. The Heaven Awaken world's blessing has disappeared, and all crop bonuses have disappeared. System announcement. The origin will no longer spawn new people. System announcement. Killing enemies will not give points, and the Heaven Awaken stone steels that can be used to exchange for items have disappeared. System announcement. The Heaven and Earth Spirit Chi has weakened. System announcement. Natural disasters have increased. Hearing these system announcements, Zhao Fu's expression became quite unsightly. It was not just Zhao Fu. Li Si, Bai Qi, and the people from the Central Domain and Heaven Domain all had unsightly expressions. The uneasiness in their hearts had been verified. The first system announcement. Before, when the Heaven Awaken world was fighting against outsiders, people could directly teleport to other worlds and fight with the indigenous residents of those worlds. However, people from other worlds could not enter the Heaven Awaken world to fight with people from the Heaven Awaken world. This was because the Heaven Awaken world had a defensive barrier that prevented people from other worlds from entering the Heaven Awaken world to fight. However, now that the defensive barrier had disappeared, people from other worlds, such as the Alchemy World's people, would be able to attack the Heaven Awaken world. The Card World's army would also be able to enter the Heaven Awaken world, and the countless insects and beasts from the outer world would also be able to wreak havoc in the Heaven Awaken world. The Heaven Awaken world was no longer safe, and it would have to face invasions from other races. Countless creatures would fall, and this would be a massive disaster for countless creatures. No one would be able to avoid this disaster, and everyone would be dragged in. The Heaven Awaken world was facing 3 great worlds, and they were already at a disadvantage in the outside world, so it would be even more disadvantageous in the Heaven Awaken world. The second system announcement. In the future, the Heaven Awaken world's people would no longer be able to use the world gates to fight in other worlds. In the future, if they wanted to go to other worlds, they would have to build their own channels. However, how could an ordinary person have the ability to teleport a royal kingdom from the Heaven Awaken world to another world's central world? Even Zhao Fu could not do such a thing. In the future, he did not want to fight against the outside world, and the Heaven Awaken world no longer needed to fight against the outside world, so he chose to passively defend. Zhao Fu was worried about the troops in the other 3 worlds. Qin had stationed a lot of troops and generals in the other 3 worlds. If they couldn't use the interface gate, what about Qin's troops? Don't tell me I can only stay on that side? This meant that Qin's soldiers, who were left in the 3 worlds by Qin, would be isolated and helpless. They would not be able to get any supplies, which would be a heavy loss for Qin. A sea of clouds. The third system announcement had disappeared. In the future, the crops and spirit medicines would have to rely on fertile soil and farming techniques to increase production. There was no way to increase the speed. Crops needed 3 months to grow, so they could only mature in 3 months. People needed to eat to live, and with so many people in Qin, the amount of food they consumed was massive. This made Qin feel some pressure. In the future, they needed to clear out more fields, or else they would not be able to feed so many people in Qin. Now, Qin had massive food reserves, so they did not have to worry about this. As long as they could increase their food production in the future, it would be fine. This would greatly affect the factions that relied on agriculture and did not have enough food. They would have to fight over food, and some people would starve to death. The fourth prompt stated that the starting ground wouldn't spawn any more people. Every village, town, and city had a starting ground. Every day a lot of people would spawn. There were men and women, young and old, as well as some people with special skills. If the starting ground could no longer spawn people, they would have to rely on breeding or plundering to increase their population. This would affect the various factions. For Qin, this would not affect them too much. After all, Qin relied on plundering to increase its population and did not rely on villages and cities to spawn. Qin had so many people, so it did not care about the spawn rate. If it was before, Qin would have been in a difficult situation, as they would not be able to quickly replenish their lost forces. However, fortunately, the den's stats had not disappeared. If the den's stats had disappeared, Zhao Fu would have wanted to curse. This was because Qin's devil beasts, wyverns, warhorses, giant wolves, large spiders, and other creatures all relied on dens to spawn. Without dens, after these creatures died, it would be incredibly difficult to nurture them again. The fifth system announcement was quite difficult to accept. In the past, killing enemies would give rewards, so people would be motivated to kill them. However, there were no rewards, and the exchange stone-steel had disappeared. After thinking about it, there was no need to be motivated to kill enemies, as enemies would come to find you. If you did not kill them, you would die. Did you want to live, or did you want to die? Everyone did not need rewards, they would fight with their lives on the line. If there were still points, they would be able to make up for the lost forces. Now, their situation would be even more difficult. In the future, they would no longer be fighting for the Heaven Awakened world but for themselves. The final two system announcements, Spirit Qi decreasing and natural disasters increasing, were quite ordinary, and everyone could guess what they were. There was nothing more to say. The system announcements caused countless people's hearts to plummet, and none of them had good expressions. They all understood what they would be facing in the future. The world returned to normal. Li Si stood by the side and said with a serious expression, "Your Majesty." Zhao Fu expressionlessly said, "Summon all of the ministers." With such a big change in the Heaven Awakened world, Qin's plans had been disrupted. They had to discuss what to do next and make all sorts of preparations. They also had to make new plans for Qin's future. Li Si nodded and immediately left to pass on Zhao Fu's orders. Zhao Fu sighed, feeling quite heavy. The various factions urgently gathered their higher-ups to discuss this matter, and the atmosphere in the Heaven Awakened world became quite oppressive. The changes in the Heaven Awakened world surprised the other three worlds, and they did not know what had happened. However, this was a great opportunity for them. Chapter 3150. Book 1, Chapter 95. Awakening. Countless system announcements sounded out from the card world. System announcement. The World Gate has opened, and you can enter the Heaven Awakened world through the World Gate to fight. System announcement. The points will be doubled, and the number of items that can be exchanged has increased. System announcement. After entering the Heaven Awakened world to fight, you can obtain the Card God's Blessing. Eating cards can temporarily increase your body's strength for 1 hour. System announcement. The rewards for conquering a territory in the Heaven Awakened world will be doubled, and you can obtain a Lord's card, which can permanently increase your bloodline and constitution. Countless people from the card world looked incredibly delighted because they could also enter the Heaven Awakened world to fight, and with so many rewards, how could they not be tempted? Before, they could only passively defend, and could not take the initiative to attack. Now that their opportunity had come, they could start a massacre in the Heaven Awakened world to take revenge for those who had died and plunder the Heaven Awakened world's resources. The points and rewards had also increased, and the God's Blessing could temporarily increase their strength, which was quite beneficial to their attacks. Many people were also quite interested in the Lord's card, as it could permanently increase one's bloodline and constitution, and it was definitely quite rare. The card world encouraged them to attack the Heaven Awakened world, and they had a great advantage. The various factions in the card world were actively preparing, and they did not want to miss out on such a good opportunity. System announcements sounded out from the alchemy world. System announcement. The world gate has opened, and you can enter the Heaven Awaken world to fight. System announcement. The points will be doubled, and the number of items that can be exchanged has increased. System announcement. After conquering a territory in the Heaven Awaken world, you can obtain a territory crystal, which can be used to strengthen alchemy Saint Beast. There were only 3 system announcements in the alchemy world. The first 2 were the same as in the card world, opening a world gate and allowing one to enter the Heaven Awaken world to fight. There, one could obtain more points and rewards, and the third one gave rewards for conquering territories. No one knew what a Lord's Crystal was, but since it could be used to strengthen alchemy Saint Beasts, it would most likely be a good item. Comparatively speaking, the rewards from the alchemy world were not as great, but everyone was still quite happy. They were confident that they could destroy the Heaven Awaken world. Before, they had been at a disadvantage because of various things, so they did not dare to recklessly attack the Heaven Awaken world. Now they had nowhere to run, and the Heaven Awaken world's people were doomed. Before, because of various things, they did not dare to recklessly attack the Heaven Awaken world. Now they felt that there was no need to be afraid, as the Heaven Awaken world could not even protect itself. The families in the alchemy world also began to prepare. Everyone was happy. Finally, the outer world was quite strange and did not give any announcement. Logically speaking, after fighting with the outer world for so many years, the outer world should have hated the Heaven Awaken world the most, so why did the outer world not give any announcement? Everyone from the Chaos world was very surprised by this. Why didn't our Chaos world receive any notifications? I've long wanted to rush into the Heaven Awaken world to take revenge. Those Heaven Awaken world people killed many of my friends. I'm not sure, but I'm quite curious. This is a good opportunity to attack the Heaven Awaken world. Yes, I've received news that the other 2 worlds are very active. Could it be that the outer world doesn't want us to attack the Heaven Awaken world? However, we're both enemies, and the outer world definitely wants us to attack the Heaven Awaken world. Then what could it be? Even if you don't give us any rewards, you should at least give us a way to attack. With our strength, just going to the Heaven Awaken world would be incredibly difficult. It might take a year or 2. Now that such a big thing has happened, where is our Chaos Child? Could it be because of him? Could it be that we need him to lead us in attacking? I don't think that's possible. We shouldn't just listen to his orders in a war like this. Moreover, even if we listen to his orders, there should be system announcement. Why isn't there a system announcement? AI. It's such a pity. Our outer world will miss out on a great opportunity. I feel that's right too. Perhaps all of the benefits from the Heaven Awaken world will be taken by the other 2 worlds. The higher-ups of the various factions gathered together to discuss. Even though they could not attack the Heaven Awaken world yet, they had made preparations. Perhaps there would be a system announcement soon. Now that the situation had changed so much, they had to make changes to their previous plans. Finally, they paid great attention to news about the Chaos Child. He had awakened the outer world's supreme Emperor Star and was the ruler of the outer world in name. It would be great if he could participate in such a major event. As for the lack of system announcements, they were not sure if it had anything to do with the Chaos Child. In actuality, even Zhao Fu did not know if it was because he had the Heaven Awaken bloodline that the outer world did not have any system announcements. Now that the outer world was not attacking the Heaven Awaken world, this was a good thing for the Heaven Awaken world. Otherwise, the Heaven Awaken world would have to face attacks from 3 other worlds, and the pressure would be immense. This was especially so for the outer world's countless insects and beasts. Within Qin's palace, Zhao Fu and his subordinates discussed with serious expressions. At that moment, a soldier ran in and reported. His Majesty has checked and found that the world gates to the three worlds can still be used. However, after being destroyed, they cannot be rebuilt. Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, the world gates could still be used, or else the soldiers that Qin had left in the three worlds would be lost. Now, they had to protect the world gates. If they were destroyed and Qin did not have the ability to rebuild them, the soldiers from the three worlds would remain in the three worlds and would not be able to return to Qin's palace. Zhao Fu said, You can leave now." The soldier obeyed and left the palace. Now, Zhao Fu and his subordinates were discussing whether or not to leave the Heaven Awakened world. It had been said a long time ago that Qin had the ability to leave the Heaven Awakened world. Now that the Heaven Awakened world was in a difficult situation, Qin was considering leaving the Heaven Awakened world. After some discussion, Qin was prepared to leave the Heaven Awakened world at any time. This was just the beginning, and the Heaven Awakened world would become even more difficult in the future. No one knew what would happen, so they had to make preparations. The second thing they were discussing was the soldiers that remained in the three worlds. Zhao Fu was also considering whether or not to withdraw them. By now, almost all of the Heaven Awakened world factions were withdrawing their soldiers. The first reason was to withdraw their soldiers to protect themselves, and the second was that the soldiers left in the other worlds would be crazily attacked. Once the world gates were destroyed, they would suffer heavy losses. Chapter 3151. Book 1. Chapter 96. This was what Zhao Fu was worried about. However, if they retreated, Qin's population would become too congested, and its territory would be greatly reduced. Food would be a problem. The three worlds' different races needed different powers. The Chaos race needed chaos power, the Gold refining race needed gold refining power, and the Card world's races needed card power. However, if the three races entered Qin, Qin would only have the Heaven Awakened world's spirit qi, and they would not be able to cultivate. The issues of food and territory were not too difficult, but the issue of stats was quite difficult. What about the people and army? This was not a small portion of people but a massive population and army. For example, the Dragon Kingdom had 60 billion or so people and 30 billion soldiers. Could Qin give up on such a force? It would be the same as cutting off one's own limbs. Now, Zhao Fu was considering gathering the three worlds' power in three places and changing the stats of those three places, making those places suitable for the three races to live in. Qin had already broken free from the Heaven Awakened world's control and could change the world's stat. Next was the matter of other worlds attacking. There would be more and more worlds attacking the Heaven Awakened world, so there would naturally be many factions attacking Qin. Now, Qin had to make preparations to defend against these people's attack. Qin also wanted to develop peacefully. Apart from Qin starting to build up defenses, the various royal kingdoms and factions were not interested in attacking Qin, as they might not even be able to protect themselves. They were also building up defenses and preparing to defend against other worlds' attack. Under such immense danger, the ancient STEM domain welcomed a short period of peace. It was the same in other places, and almost everyone was in danger. Not long after the meeting ended, Zhao Fu received another 5 messages. The first was from Long Shenyan, saying that countless factions from the Card world were about to invade the Heaven Awakened world. There were many terrifying factions, and she told Zhao Fu to be careful and make preparations. Zhao Fu had already guessed that the second message was from Wang Jian, which also said that the alchemy world would launch a large-scale invasion, and that the 3 major families were ready to attack Qin's base at any time. Qin was in a disadvantageous situation, so the 3 families wanted to attack. However, they were afraid of Qin's strength, so they didn't attack. If it was any other faction, they would attack without hesitation. The third message was from Ericina, making Zhao Fu feel quite surprised. The outer world did not give him any notifications, nor did it open a world gate. What's going on? Zhao Fu thought about it but could not understand. Without opening the world gates, enemies from the outer world would not be able to enter the heaven-awakened world, which was a good thing. The various factions in the Chaos world were also searching for Zhao Fu's whereabouts, including the factions that were previously related to Zhao Fu, such as the Dragon Race, the Witch Race, the 12 Moons, and the Sun God Temple. They all wanted Zhao Fu to return. However, how could Zhao Fu have the time to care about those things? In fact, Zhao Fu did not have any intention of going to the outer world, so it would be almost impossible for them to find him. Who would have thought that someone with chaotic grade would be someone from the heaven-awakened world? Go to the listening network. If the outer world really attacked Qin, Zhao Fu was not sure what he would do as the child of chaos. Would he stop the outer world from attacking and save the heaven-awakened world? Or would he help the outer world destroy the heaven-awakened world? The fourth message was from the Fire Kingdom's Fire White Bird. After fighting with Qin a few times, the Fire Kingdom's strength had greatly decreased. If other worlds invaded, the Fire White Bird was worried that it would not be able to defend, so it wanted Zhao Fu to help the Fire Kingdom in times of danger. Zhao Fu did not refuse, as he had already treated the Fire Kingdom as his own faction. It was only a matter of time before he devoured it. The final message was from the 8 Days Dragon Sex Ziyuan. She first thanked Zhao Fu for sparing her son, and Long Yang was now very obedient in the dragon sect. She was also very worried about the dragon sect's safety, and hoped that Zhao Fu would be able to help the dragon sect in times of danger. She would be very grateful to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu slightly smiled and did not refuse. He had people relay his message to the 5 people, and Zhao Fu started to deal with the changes to the heaven-awakened world's attribute. After coming to the border of Qin's territory, Zhao Fu's original plan was to set up a massive magic formation like the Heaven Realm and Earth Realm to absorb the attributes of the 3 worlds and convert the attributes of the boundary regions. However, things were not as simple as Zhao Fu had thought. The Heaven Realm could gather massive amounts of celestial qi because Qin had found the half-celestial world and used it as a foundation. The ruins of End was at the bottom of the world, so it was quite easy to gather. However, gathering power from the 3 worlds was quite difficult, as the 3 worlds had their own barriers and laws, making it so that their source energy would not leak out. This would be easily detected by the world's consciousnesses, and they would be in danger. He set up one in the alchemy world and another at Great Qin's boundary. Both worlds' magic formations could be used and could gather large amounts of power. However, because of the barriers and laws, he could not transfer the power to the heaven-awakened world. Zhao Fu also tried to set up a magic formation in the alchemy world. What should he do? Could he set up the sealing heaven suppressing earth formation like Qin's territory and cause Qin's territory to break free from the 3 worlds' control? However, this was not only dangerous, but the places that Qin's territory were not at the borders of the 3 worlds, so he could not break free from the 3 worlds' control. If he could break free from the 3 worlds' control, it would be great. He would be able to create 3 smaller worlds like the heaven-awakened world's God world and underworld, fusing them into Great Qin's world. Such an alchemy world would definitely be better than an alchemy land. The alchemy power in the alchemy world could be continuously strengthened, and the alchemy power could be continuously circulated, while the alchemy land could be continuously consumed. Zhao Fu tried a few more methods, such as bringing the energy stones from the various worlds over, or burying them in Great Qin's territory. This would indeed change the region's attribute. Zhao Fu's eyes lit up as he looked at Zhao Fu. However, the amount of energy stones required was impossible to estimate, as the 3 races had conceded too much. If it was only a few million, Qin's territory could immediately provide 3 exclusive regions. This method consumed too many energy stones, so Zhao Fu could only give up. Other methods either did not work or had flaws, so Zhao Fu was not satisfied with them. In the end, he could only give up on changing the attributes of the regions and wait to see what would happen in the future. If something unexpected happened to the other three worlds, Zhao Fu would bring them back to the heaven-awakened world. However, the three races would have to temporarily live in an environment with spirit qi. Even though they would not be used to it, it was better than dying. Chapter 3152. Book 1, Chapter 97. Book 1. Boom. 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 Massive explosions sounded out as alchemy power suddenly flowed out from the heaven-awakened world. Metallic elemental essence condensed in the air as large metal doors appeared, giving off a powerful aura of suppression. The metal doors slowly opened and countless gold refiner people walked out, excitedly looking around. The gold refiner world was the first to attack the heaven-awakened world. The card world did not fall behind either. Streams of card power surged out from various parts of the void and massive cards appeared on the ground. They then turned into many motes of light and exquisite doors appeared. One by one, the neatly dressed card world soldiers walked out from inside and looked around curiously. To the people from the two worlds, this was the first time they had come to another world, and it was the first time they had participated in a battle with another world. Boom! 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 One after another, the cannon barrels of the alchemy's sacred beasts aimed at a tall city wall. Terrifying beams of light shot out and quickly flew towards the city wall. The heaven-awakened world soldiers on the city walls immediately unleashed defensive barriers, blocking the beams of light. The gold refiner world people did not mind and continued to have the gold refiner beast attack. Countless beams of light continuously blasted at the defensive barrier, and after blocking a few waves of attacks, the defensive barrier shattered. Seeing that the defensive barrier had been broken, the countless gold refiner people loudly roared and rushed towards the defensive wall. Arrows shot out from the heaven-awakened world side, raining down. The gold refining race's people swung their metal arms or weapons, knocking the arrows away, not dealing much damage. Roar! 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 Massive roars sounded out as terrifying auras spread out from the heaven-awakened world side. Massive white lions appeared, giving off terrifying power. The gold refiner beast gave off immense power as they quickly rushed at the white lions, while the lions also ferociously rushed at the gold refiner beast. The two sides intensely fought. A gold refiner beast shot out many beams of light, piercing through a massive lion's body. A white lion spat out an orb of white light, blasting a gold refiner beast away. Another gold refiner beast shot out many beams of light at a white lion, sending it flying. A white lion pounced at a divine refinement beast and grabbed at the divine refinement beast with immense power. An ear-piercing metallic sound rang out and countless sparks flew as massive claw marks appeared. An alchemical holy beast exuding formidable alchemical power rushed towards a white lion and sent the white lion flying, crashing heavily to the ground. A white lion opened its mouth and condensed a white ball of light that shot towards a holy refinement beast. A holy refinement beast also shot out many beams of light that blasted towards the white lion. The two powers collided and caused a huge explosion. The people of the Gold Refinement clan unleashed their gold refinement power, condensing metal stairs that extended to the city wall. Many people of the Gold Refinement clan rushed up the crystal stairs. There were also some who used alchemy power to condense metal chains and shoot them at the city walls, using these metal chains to attack the city walls. On the Heaven Awakened world's side, countless saber lights, spear lights, arrows, and stones flew towards the Heaven Awakened world's side, while the Heaven Awakened world's side unleashed many sharp lights and alchemy spears and spikes towards the Heaven Awakened world's people. Guardian Den. The intense battle between the two sides was incredibly ear-piercing, and blood continuously flew everywhere as people continuously died. The situation was quite unfavorable for the Heaven Awakened world's side. The divine refinement beasts were made of metal and did not fear pain or death. They ferociously attacked the white lions, causing many of the white lions to die and a small portion of the divine refinement beasts to die. By now, The people of the Gold Refinement clan had already reached the city walls and started to fight with the Heaven Awakened World's people. A Gold Refinement clan person jumped forwards and slashed out with his saber, splitting apart a Heaven Awakened World person's body. A Heaven Awakened World person stabbed out with his spear, piercing through a Gold Refinement clan person's chest, causing blood to fly everywhere. A Gold Refinement clan soldier swung his saber and slashed out a few sharp saber lights, killing a few Heaven Awakened World people. A Gold Refinement clan person used a metal spear and pierced through a Heaven Awakened World person's throat. A Heaven Awakened World person held an axe and furiously hacked at a Gold Refinement clan person, splitting open that Gold Refinement clan person's head and causing blood and brain matter to fly everywhere. The people of the Gold Refinement clan continuously attacked the city walls, and people continuously died on the Heaven Awakened World's side. Gradually, the Heaven Awakened World's people were unable to stop the Gold Refinement World's people and started to retreat. In the end, the Gold Refinement clan won. The ground was covered with corpses and blood dyed the surroundings red, giving off a dense stench of blood. The people of the Gold Refinement clan cheered, celebrating their victory. The people of the Gold Refinement clan were not too surprised by this result, as they did not place the Heaven Awakened World's people in their eyes. Battles also broke out in other places, and most of them were won by the Gold Refinement World. Very few factions could stop the Gold Refinement World's attack. The Card World's people started to fight with the Heaven Awakened World's people. Swish, 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 cards flew out from the Card World army and turned into streams of water that shot towards the Heaven Awakened World's city walls. On the Heaven Awakened World's side, the city walls gave off a powerful light, forming a massive wall of light that blocked the streams of water. The Card World army once again threw out cards, which fused with the streams of water and formed a powerful corrosive acid. This acid started to corrode the wall of light. White smoke continuously rose up, and large holes were slowly corroded into the wall of light. After breaking through the Heaven Awakened World's defenses, the Card World army immediately launched an all-out attack. Boom! The scene of countless soldiers charging over was like a massive flood, giving off massive sounds that shook the surroundings and caused clouds to swirl. Swish, 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 countless arrows shot out from the Heaven Awakened World's side, giving off immense power as they shot towards the Card World. There were countless arrows. On the Card World's side, the soldiers gave off powerful auras, which condensed into massive cards that blocked the countless arrows. Some of the swords were sent flying, while others fell to the ground. Swish, 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 the sound of the air being torn could be heard as the soldiers on the Heaven Awakened World's city walls threw out violet spears. The violet spears gave off immense power as they shot towards the Card World army. Bang! 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 The violet spears blasted holes in the cards, and the violet spears continued to shoot towards the army behind them. Some of the Card World soldiers were unable to dodge in time, and their bodies were pierced by the spears. Some were able to block the spears. Chapter 3153. Book 1. Chapter 98. The Card World immediately retaliated, pasting cards onto the arrows and fusing them into the arrows. Countless arrows shot out, giving off waves of hot air as they flew towards the defensive walls. Arg, pained cries sounded out as the arrows easily pierced through the Heaven Awakened World soldiers' bodies. The arrows continued to give off hot air, and it was as if boiling water had been poured into their wounds, causing the soldiers to feel immense pain. The Card World dealt even greater damage to the Heaven Awakened World. Caw, 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 massive crows appeared in the sky. Their bodies were jet black, and even their eyes were black. They gave off powerful auras, and they were large creatures that the Heaven Awakened World had nurtured. The crows quickly flew towards the Card World army and flapped their wings, causing countless black flames to descend and land on the Card World soldiers' bodies. Soon, the Card World soldiers were set ablaze, and within the black flames, the Card World soldiers howled. Boom! A group of cavalrymen clad in blue armor and wielding blue spears appeared. They rode horses covered in blue scales, and their bodies gave off a wave of water power. The cavalrymen charged at the massive crows and gathered the water around them as they vigorously stabbed towards the sky. Massive blue spear lights shot towards the sky, shooting down the crows. The crows flew towards the cavalrymen and flapped their wings, sending down even more black flames towards the cavalrymen. When the black flames landed on the cavalrymen's bodies, they were quickly set ablaze. However, they were not able to harm the cavalrymen because a blue barrier covered them, blocking out the black flames. Boom! 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 The cavalrymen gathered their power together and stabbed their spears into the sky. Massive blue spears containing immense force shot towards the crows in the sky, causing even more crows to fall from the sky. The large number of crows dying caused the crows to feel terror, and they started to retreat. The cavalrymen countered large creatures, and if there were no accidents, the large creatures would lose. Even when large creatures fought with alchemy saint beasts, they would not suffer such losses. Even if there were losses, they would still be injured. The cavalrymen did not chase after the crows and instead looked at the defensive walls. Rumble, the cavalry corps charged at the city walls with all their might, and they were incredibly fast. They left behind traces of blue light, and the blue energy gathered into a blue arrow that gave off terrifying power as it rushed towards the city walls. Bang! A massive sound rang out as the blue arrowhead blasted open a large hole in the city wall. A powerful gust of wind blew out, causing countless rocks to fly everywhere. The heaven-awakened world people's expressions became quite unsightly. At this time, the people of the card world had also rushed to the bottom of the city wall and used card. The cards made their bodies very light, allowing them to jump up the city wall. The heaven-awakened world's people on the city walls would not allow the card world's people to come up so easily. They continuously threw arrows, rocks, and kerosene at the card world's people, causing some casualties. The card world's army started to gather towards the hole that the cavalrymen had created, and the heaven-awakened world's army also gathered there, preparing to stop the card world's army. The soldiers of both sides began to fight. Bashan Aia heaven-awakened world soldier vigorously struck out with his spear, sending a card world soldier flying. Another card world soldier's sword gave off a sword light, slicing off a heaven-awakened world soldier's head. A card world soldier roared and slashed out with his saber, sending a heaven-awakened world soldier flying. The heaven-awakened world soldier had a very deep wound on his chest, and a large amount of blood flowed out. It seemed that he would not be able to survive. A heaven-awakened world soldier stabbed out with his sword, and a sharp sword light pierced through a card world soldier's chest. The card world soldier powerlessly fell to the ground, dead. Another card world soldier slashed out with his saber, chopping off another heaven-awakened world soldier's head. Boom! Another massive explosion sounded out as rocks flew everywhere, and the cavalrymen once again smashed open another large hole in the city wall. The card world army split off a portion of their soldiers and rushed towards that hole. The two armies continued to fight, causing blood to spurt everywhere as large numbers of people died. Boom! Soon, another massive explosion sounded out as the cavalrymen once again smashed open another large hole in the city wall. Caw, 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 the massive crows once again flew out and ferociously charged at the cavalrymen, using their massive bodies and sharp claws to attack the cavalrymen. The cavalrymen gave off unstoppable power as they sent the crows flying. Some of the crows were even longer, and their bodies were cut in half by the cavalrymen's light. Blood and organs splattered everywhere, and they died wretchedly. Kill! The card world soldiers roared and gave off an even more ferocious aura as they attacked the heaven-awakened world army, and the heaven-awakened world army was gradually unable to stop them. The heaven-awakened world army held on for a while, but they were unable to stop the card world army. The card world army's strength was about the same as the heaven-awakened world soldiers, but the cavalrymen were incredibly terrifying, and they were unable to stop them at all. The Heaven Awakened World soldiers started to retreat, but the Card World army did not let them off. They continued to chase after the Heaven Awakened World soldiers and attacked cities. Countless residents ran in terror. The Card World soldiers rushed in and started to massacre the resident. The elderly, children, and women all died under their blades. Some soldiers rushed into rooms and searched for valuable things. Some soldiers took a fancy to the women in the Heaven Awakened World and defiled them. Some were able to live, while others were directly killed. The cities were in chaos, and cries and yells continuously sounded out. A bloody stench spread out, and some houses were set on fire. The city lord knelt on the ground and begged, "Sir, I'm willing to surrender. I'm willing to surrender, but please spare me." A general coldly harumphed as a spear pierced through the city lord's chest, causing blood to fly out. The city lord looked incredibly pained, and the general pulled out the spear. The city lord powerlessly fell to the ground, and the general ordered the soldiers to continue attacking. The Card World soldiers continuously attacked and slaughtered, and soon they controlled this region. Most of the battles in the Card World were won by the Card World. Unless there was a faction that could deal with the cavalrymen, it would be very difficult to defend against the Card World army. The two worlds' armies attacked so smoothly, and they had plundered a large amount of resources and treasures. This made the other factions feel quite tempted, and they immediately joined in. The morale of the two worlds seemed to be unstoppable. After hearing about this, the outer world could only feel quite worried. They also wanted to go to the Heaven Awakened World to slaughter and plunder, but with their strength they could not go to the Heaven Awakened World on a large scale. In the end, they could only continue to wait and search for the Chaos Child, hoping that he would have a way. Chapter 3154. Book 1, Chapter 99. Boom! A huge roar sounded, and in the void of Qin's border, a huge alchemy power rushed out. Many pieces of metal condensed, and a metal gate appeared in the void. The metal door opened slowly, and countless people from the gold refiner tribe poured out. The person in the lead was an effeminate young man in white clothes. His name was Gojio, and he was the young master of the Go family. This faction was also called the Go family, and the Saint Refinement Beast was also in the form of a dog. The dog family's strength was not bad, and they were the second wave of forces to attack from the Heaven Awakened World. They had heard from other places that the Heaven Awakened World was quite weak and could be easily destroyed. They also joined in to attack the Heaven Awakened World, wanting to obtain all sorts of benefit. Gojio looked around and found that the Heaven Awakened World was indeed different to the alchemy world. He gave a trace of a smile and said, "Go around and see if there are any factions. I can't wait to destroy a few Heaven Awakened World factions." Next to him was a young man with a small face and big eyes. He was called Go-E, and he smiled as he said, "Young master, it's not a big deal. I'll go right away." After a while, Go-E returned with a smile and reported, "Young master, we discovered a faction nearby called the Qin Empire. I heard that it's quite powerful." Gojio said with a smile, "A little powerful? No wonder we were teleported here. I wanted to see how powerful this Qin Empire was." "Good. Let's attack him," Gui said with a flattering smile. "I also heard that there are many stunning beauties in the Qin Empire." Gojio nodded with a smile. "After we break through Qin City, I will reward you with a few," Goi said with a smile. "Thank you, my lord." Gojio led his army to the great Qin City walls. This time, he had brought 10 billion or so gold refiner soldiers, and they gave off a massive metallic aura, causing all creatures in the Heaven Awakened World to feel suffocated. Qin had also planted spies around the border. As soon as the Go family appeared, Qin knew about them and gathered an army. Goi shouted, "This is the young master of the Go family. If your Qin Empire knows the power of our alchemy world, come and kneel to our young master immediately. If we break in, you will all die." Zhao Fu smiled contemptuously. Just you guys. Go Yi snorted coldly. Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to us like that? Zhao Fu said with a smile, I am the Lord of Qin, the King of Qin Empire. Go Yi wanted to say something, but Go Jiu gestured for Go Yi to retreat. Go Yi retreated to Go Jiu's body. Go Jiu smiled and said, Your tone is a bit arrogant, but I can understand. Maybe in a small border your Qin is a bit powerful, but you don't know who you are facing. Dog 9 didn't take Qin seriously at all. How strong could a border force be? It would only take half a day to completely wipe them out. Zhao Fu chuckled and said, Stop talking nonsense, hurry up and attack. Go Jiu's expression turned cold. Since there's nothing else to say, I'll let you personally experience the power of my alchemist family. Don't fall to the ground in fear. Go Jiu raised a hand and called out, Attack! Massive dog-like god refinement beasts aimed the cannons on their sides and the cannons on their heads at Great Qin's city walls. Boom! Boom! Massive sounds rang out as countless beams of light containing shocking power shot towards the city walls. A terrifying shockwave spread out, causing people's hands and feet to feel cold. Qin's side immediately unleashed a massive defensive barrier, covering Qin's city walls. Bang! 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 Countless beams of light landed on Qin's city walls, and powerful shockwaves spread out. Light covered everything, and the sounds were deafening. It was as if everything in front of them was about to be destroyed. Go Jiu gave a confident smile. However, after the beams of light shot up, Qin's city wall's defensive barrier perfectly blocked all of the attacks, and it was not damaged at all. Go Jiu looked quite confused and immediately ordered people to attack. Boom! Boom! Massive explosions once again sounded out as the beams of light containing immense power shot forward. Light spread out and massive shockwaves spread out. This attack was even more ferocious than before, and some of the ground in front of them cracked, creating a terrifying scene. However, after the light dissipated, Qin's city walls were not damaged at all, and Qin's city walls were not affected at all. Go Jiu felt quite angry and immediately ordered people to attack. After a series of wild explosions, Qin's city walls were not damaged at all. Go Jiu looked at this scene in disbelief. How could they not be able to break through Qin's city walls after attacking for so long? Zhao Fu laughed as he said, Isn't it our turn to attack now? Even larger alchemist saint beasts appeared, and they were twice as big as the Go family's alchemist saint beasts. There were even beasts that were many times bigger, and the alchemist might they gave off was even more terrifying than the Go family's. Go Jiu looked at this scene in shock. It was not just him. The Go family's countless people also looked at this scene in shock. How could a heaven-awakened world have alchemist saint beasts? What was more, they were even bigger than theirs. Qin's alchemist saint beasts aimed their cannons at the Go family. Light shot out from the cannons, and a terrifying and dangerous aura spread out, causing the Go family's people's hairs to stand on end. Boom! 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 Massive beams of light containing immense power shot towards the Go family's alchemist saint beasts incredibly quickly. The Go family's alchemist saint beasts hurriedly unleashed their defensive barriers, and as the beams of light shot over, some of the alchemist saint beasts' defensive barriers were shattered. Some of the alchemist saint beasts' bodies were blasted back, and others were pierced through. The ground shattered and rocks flew everywhere. Light scattered everywhere, and gusts of wind blew, causing the surroundings to fall into chaos. This attack caused many alchemist saint beasts to be destroyed, and some even lost their ability to fight. Go Jiu came back to his senses and yelled, Hurry and run! Only now did the Go family understand what kind of terrifying faction they had provoked. They were not a match for this faction at all, so they could only choose to run. Otherwise they would all die here. How could there be such an overpowered faction at the boundary of the heaven-awakened world? The Go family's army immediately retreated. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, You want to run now? Zhao Fu gave the order to give chase. Countless Qin's soldiers rushed towards the Go family, while the alchemist Saint Beasts shot out terrifying beams of light from behind, ferociously attacking the Go family's army. Soon, Qin's soldiers caught up to the Go family's army. A Qin soldier quickly rushed over, his spear piercing through a alchemist saint soldier's body. Another alchemist saint soldier desperately retaliated, using his spear to attack a Qin soldier, stabbing a Qin soldier in the shoulder. Chapter 3155. Book 1. Chapter 100. A God Refiner soldier ran in panic, and a Qin soldier chased up and killed that God Refiner soldier. Another God Refiner soldier suddenly stabbed a sword through a Qin soldier's chest. A Qin soldier roared as he rushed up and slashed out with his saber, sending out a sharp saber light that cut off a God Refiner soldier's head. Another God Refiner soldier furiously rushed at a Qin soldier and killed him. Boom! 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 The Qin God Refiner beasts continued to attack, and powerful beams of light shot towards the Go family's army. Some people were blasted into bits of flesh and blood, while others were blasted away, creating a bloody and terrifying scene. The Go family's God Refiner beasts fought back with great difficulty, but no matter if it was in terms of numbers or power, they were unable to deal much damage to the Qin soldiers. Go 9 and his people quickly escaped back to the alchemy world. A large number of alchemy stone steels and God Refiner beasts had died here, and blood covered the ground. The Qin soldiers had only lost a small portion of their forces. After escaping back to the alchemy world, the Go family's people looked quite terrified and cut quite wretched. They were no longer as arrogant as before. Wasn't it said that the Heaven Awaken world factions were quite weak? In order to be safe, they had found a boundary faction, but why did a boundary faction have such terrifying strength? Were those rumors false? Go 9 felt quite angry. They had lost so many people and God Refiner beasts. A skinny middle-aged man walked over with some people. Looking at the retreating army, his expression was quite unsightly as he asked, "What happened?" He was the leader of the Go family, and his name was Go Shan. Go 9 felt quite speechless. After all, he could not give an explanation to his father. After all, he would definitely be punished for such a loss. Seeing Go 9's expression, Go Shan said angrily, "Hurry up and tell me, why are there only so few people? Where did the others and God Refiner beasts go?" Go 9 said anxiously, "They're all dead." Go Shan felt quite furious. The other elders also felt quite startled. Even though they had expected this, they could not accept such a great loss. Go Shan said angrily, "Hurry up and tell me what happened. If you don't, I'll strip you of your young master status." Go Jiu hurriedly said, "Father, you can't blame me for this. I didn't do anything wrong. The Qin Empire we met was too strong. We were no match for it at all. Fortunately, we ran fast, otherwise we would all be dead." Dog Mountain frowned. "What kind of power is the Qin Empire?" Dog 9 said, "We're not sure either. Although they're just a border force, they have a large number of alchemy sacred beasts. Their alchemy sacred beasts are stronger than ours. They heavily injured our alchemy sacred beasts with just one attack. Not only are those soldiers well equipped, but they have also mastered several types of powers. It seems that they also have alchemy powers. Our soldiers are no match for them." Dog Mountain's expression was cold. He was also very curious as to why there was such a powerful force at the border. An elder at the side sighed. "We've sent out half of the Patriarch's forces, yet we didn't gain anything. Instead, we lost so many people. If we had known this would happen, we wouldn't have participated in this world war." Another elder asked, "Then, are we still going to participate?" A metal-faced elder said, "I feel that this was just an accident. The other factions attacked the Heaven Awaken world very smoothly and obtained great benefit. Only we've suffered such heavy losses." The elder who had spoken before said, "Let's not worry about that. We've suffered so many losses, so we should focus on developing and recover our strength. We can't take any more risk. Hearing this, Dog Mountain nodded. Our dog family can't continue. If we're unlucky and encounter another powerful faction, we'll be in danger of being destroyed. Gojio inwardly let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, he was not to be blamed for this. It was Qin who was simply too powerful. Zhao Fu went to the metal doors. Even though they were still there, they were closed, and Qin could not enter. After all, this was the alchemy world's world gate, and only the dog family's people could enter. Even though Zhao Fu had the power to change attributes, facing these metal doors, there was nothing he could do. This was because these metal doors had lost a special item, which contained the world's consciousness. If Zhao Fu could change this door's attributes, then Qin could use it to enter the alchemy world and destroy the dog family. Boom! An explosion sounded out as the metal doors gave off a powerful aura and slowly disappeared. Since the world gate had disappeared, it seemed that the dog family would not dare to come again. This made sense. With their strength, attacking Qin was simply seeking death. Zhao Fu said, "Clean up the battlefield and let's go back." The soldiers obeyed. After returning to Qin, Zhao Fu received a lot of news. It was not just Qin who had been attacked. Many other factions had been attacked by the alchemy world. Some had been able to stop the alchemy world's family leaders, while others had been destroyed by the alchemy world. After the baptism of the World War, only the powerful factions would remain, and the weaker factions would be eliminated. Now that the World War had begun, Zhao Fu felt quite uncomfortable. Without the harassment from the various kingdoms, there were now many uncertain factors, and Zhao Fu was worried that a powerful faction would appear near Qin. Li Si walked in and said, "Your Majesty, some people from factions want to meet you." Zhao Fu nodded and said, "Let them in." Li Si obeyed and brought 10 or so people in. The person in the lead was a man with a mustache and an extraordinary aura. He smiled as he said, "Greetings, Your Majesty, and congratulations on your victory." Hearing this, Zhao Fu understood. It turned out that these people knew that Qin had easily destroyed the alchemy world family, which was why they had come to meet him. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "What business do you have?" The man smiled as he said, "We're willing to pledge loyalty to Qin and hope to receive Qin's protection." It had just been said that the weak factions would be eliminated, and these people were the targets of elimination. Now, the Heaven Awakened world was in quite a difficult situation. Not only was there very little spirit chi, but there were also all sorts of natural disasters and 2 worlds attacking. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Do you remember which factions you belonged to before?" These were all nearby factions, and almost all of the nearby factions had joined the alliance to resist Qin. In other words, these people had opposed Qin before. The alliance was like a pile of loose sand, and was becoming more and more useless. The various royal kingdom alliances retreated, and they were about to collapse. Great Qin did not pay them any mind, as they were no longer a threat to Great Qin and could be destroyed at any time. Chapter 3156. Book 1, Chapter 101. Hearing this, the 10 or so people looked quite awkward. The man in the lead said respectfully, "We were foolish in the past. Your Majesty can punish us, and we are willing to accept punishment." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "You can leave first. I will deal with this matter later." The people looked quite delighted and understood that Qin was willing to accept them. This meant that they would have protection in the future, and they hurriedly knelt on the ground and said, "Thank you, Your Majesty." Zhao Fu nodded. These people were just the first batch, and in the future, the situation outside would become more and more difficult. At that time, there would be more and more people seeking refuge with Qin. Zhao Fu was magnanimous for once and did not scheme against them, allowing more people to join Qin and increasing Qin's strength. After they left, Zhao Fu immediately received news that the Lei family in the alchemy world had attacked Qin again. Last time, the Lei family had been shocked by Qin's strength and did not dare to fight with Qin again, so they could only sullenly reconcile. Now that such a big thing had happened, the Lei family felt that their opportunity had come, so they could not help but feel fearful. Moreover, it was not just their family but also the Yan family. The Yan family's head, Yan Jiao, wanted to participate, but he could not stop others from persuading him. In the end, he could only join. After all, only by destroying Qin would the Yan family be able to have peace. Zhao Fu looked quite angry. I didn't want to act against them, but since they want to die, I'll fulfill their wish. Following this, Zhao Fu came to the alchemy world. Wang Jian bowed and said, "Your Majesty." Zhao Fu nodded and asked, "What's the situation now?" Wang Jian replied, "The Lei family and the Yan family have joined forces. The Lei family will attack from the left side of Qin, while the Yan family will attack from the right side. Both sides have around 60 billion soldiers and over 100,000 holy beasts. It seems that they have decided to destroy Qin." Zhao Fu said, "Lead the soldiers to defend against the Lei family, and I'll leave the war god's fury to you. As for the Lei family, I'll deal with them." Wang Jian said, "Yes." Zhao Fu led his army to the city walls of Qin City. Looking at Lei Ying, he coldly mocked, "You still dare to come? Don't you remember how to go back?" Lei Ying coldly harumphed, "This is different from last time. I've come for revenge this time. I'll make you kneel in front of me and beg for mercy. It's not too late for you to piss off. The Heaven Awakened world is being invaded by our alchemy world. I wonder where you find the courage to stay here." Zhao Fu sneered, "You really don't know what's good for you. Let me see how strong you are." Lei Ying shouted, "Look carefully over there." Boom, 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 loud rumbling sounds could be heard, and a huge gold refinement sacred beast appeared in the sky. It was the Lei family's thunder eagle. Lei Ying took out a massive crystal and threw it into the sky. The crystal flew into the sky and arrived at the center of the countless thunder eagles, giving off a massive wave of light that covered all of the thunder eagles. The thunder eagles' bodies were covered by the crystal light, and the power they gave off was much stronger than before. Lei Ying smiled as he said, "This is the crystal I obtained from attacking the Heaven Awakened world. I'll use it to destroy Qin City." Crackle, the countless lightning eagles gave off arcs of lightning that lit up the sky. An incredibly terrifying wave of electricity spread out, causing the air to be filled with a lightning aura. This scene was like a divine punishment, causing everyone to feel oppressive and terrified. Zhao Fu's expression was serious as he said, "This power is indeed terrifying." Boom, boom, boom. The thunder eagle flapped its wings, and countless bolts of lightning shot towards Qin City. It was as if a thunderstorm had descended, and it seemed as if it could destroy everything. Qin City's defensive barrier immediately activated, and it gave off a powerful aura. The countless bolts of lightning blasted against the defensive barrier, causing massive explosions to sound out. Countless bolts of lightning blasted out, and the lightning covered everything. The heaven-shaking aura made everyone feel suffocated. After the lightning dissipated, Qin City's defensive barrier had been shattered. Luckily, not many soldiers had been injured. Lei Ying happily laughed as he said, "Did you see that? This is the Lei family's current power. You won't be able to stop the Lei family. Just kneel and beg for mercy." Zhao Fu's expression was cold. With the Lord Grade Crystal, the Thunder Eagle's power had exceeded his expectations. It was just like how attacking the Heaven Awakened world's territory would allow one to obtain a Lord Grade Crystal, which was a great advantage for the Gold Refinement world. Zhao Fu also released massive Gold Refinement Wyverns. Facing such powerful Thunder Eagles, only the Gold Refinement Wyverns could stand up to them. Lei Ying was not afraid seeing the Gold Refinement Wyverns appear, and he once again used his lightning to attack. Boom, 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 massive explosions sounded out as countless bolts of lightning containing destructive power blasted towards Qin City, giving off shocking sounds. Roar, Roar, roar. On Qin City's side, the gold refinement wyverns continuously roared and spat out beams of light containing terrifying power towards the Thunder Eagle. They brought with them a berserk gale, and it seemed as if no one could stop them. Bang, bang, bang! Deafening explosions sounded out in the sky, and countless blinding lights spread out as terrifying shockwaves rippled out. Arcs of lightning shot everywhere, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. After the shockwaves dissipated, Laying frowned. The gold refinement wyverns had actually blocked the Thunder Eagle's attack. However, the Thunder Eagle had become much stronger, and yet it had still been blocked by the gold refinement wyverns. It could be seen just how terrifying the gold refinement wyverns were. If they did not have the Lord Grade Crystal, they would definitely lose. Zhao Fu said, "Attack!" The countless gold refinement wyverns flapped their wings and gave off powerful auras as they quickly flew towards the radium eagles. Laying gave the order for the lightning eagles to rush over as well. He was confident that he would not lose to Qin City. The lightning eagles and nest wyverns intensely fought in the sky. A gold refinement wyvern bit down on a lightning eagle's neck and flung it away. A lightning eagle's sharp claws gave off a cold light as it swiped towards the gold refinement wyvern, immediately leaving a gash on the gold refinement wyvern's body. One of the alchemy divine beasts flapped its wings and quickly rushed towards a lightning eagle, bringing with it a powerful force as it sent the lightning eagle flying. The lightning eagle suddenly flew downwards and pecked at the alchemy den dragon, opening a large hole in its back. A gold refinement holy beast flapped its wings and released bolts of lightning that blasted against a gold refinement wyvern's body, injuring it. Another gold refinement wyvern opened its mouth and spat out a beam of light, sending a lightning eagle flying. A terrifying aura spread out in the sky, causing the heavens and earth to dim. No one could defend against this power. On the ground, Laying also attacked. The Lei family's army flooded towards Qin City, giving off an incredibly powerful aura. They were incredibly fast and could cause people to feel terror. Chapter 3157. Book 1, Chapter 102. Zhao Fu was not afraid at all. With the strength of Qin's soldiers, they would not lose to the Lei family's soldiers in a head-on battle. Xiu xiu xiu, arrows arced through the air, flying towards the Lei family soldiers. There were so many of them that it was impossible to count. The Lei family soldiers immediately released waves of lightning aura, forming a massive lightning shield that blocked the incoming arrows. The army continued to rush in the direction of Qin, getting closer and closer to Qin. Boom boom boom. Massive explosions sounded out as rays of light containing immense power shot towards the Lei family's residence, leaving behind streaks of light in the air. Puff puff puff. To everyone's surprise, the streams of light not only pierced through the lightning shield but also the bodies of the Lei family members. Blood splattered everywhere and many screams rang out. The Lei family's attack slowed down. These streams of light were Qin's rune arrows, made with materials from the chaotic world. They were specially made to restrain the gold refiners. However, this was only a small part of the damage, and some of the arrows were blocked. Laying also ordered his men to attack quickly. Zhao Fu looked at the battle in the sky. It was quite intense, and there were some casualties. Zhao Fu immediately released the ancient martial god to join the battle in the sky. Pairs of wings sprouted from the backs of the primordial martial gods, and they rapidly charged towards the Thunder Eagles. Zhao Fu turned his gaze to the Lord Crystal floating in the air. As long as he could destroy this item, the Thunder Eagle would gain more power. Zhao Fu had someone bring out a massive dragon-slaying ballista. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out, and a ray of light containing terrifying power shot towards the Lei family like a hot knife through butter. It was as if it could pierce through the sky. Naturally, Laying understood the importance of a Lord Crystal. He immediately had the Thunder Eagle shoot out a large number of lightning bolts at the incoming stream of light. Although the lightning bolts failed to block the stream of light, they weakened a portion of its power. Following this, a massive magic array on the ground activated, and a massive purple energy barrier enveloped the Lord-grade crystal. Boom! When the beam of light struck the barrier, shock waves spread out, forming strong gales that blew out. In the end, small cracks appeared on the purple energy barrier, blocking the massive beam of light. It seemed that destroying the Lord-grade crystal would be very difficult. Laying smiled and ordered the Lei family army to prepare to attack Qin. The archers at the back of the army took out arrows. The arrowheads of these arrows were embedded with small thunder crystals. Xiu xiu xiu, the archers shot out arrows. The arrows left arcs of electricity behind them as they shot towards the walls of Qin City at an extremely fast speed. The Qin soldiers raised their shields and the arrows hit them. A wave of electricity spread out, and with a sizzling sound, some of the Qin soldiers' bodies were pierced by the arrows. Their bodies gave off electric arcs as they fell to the ground and died. With this wave of attack, the army of the Lei family had already rushed to the front of Qin City. Metal stairs were condensed and extended to the city wall of Qin City. Some of the metal stairs were condensed, and metal ladders were placed on the city wall. The Lei family started to attack the walls of Qin City. Qin's side also started to counterattack. Arrows shot down the soldiers of the Lei family, and sword lights sent the soldiers flying. The Lei family immediately took out thunder crystals and activated them. The thunder crystals gave off lightning light and formed thunder balls, which they threw towards the city wall. The thunder balls exploded, and arcs of electricity quickly spread out. Some of the soldiers of Qin City were electrocuted, and some of the soldiers of Qin City were electrocuted to death. Some parts of their bodies were charred black, and they gave off the smell of meat. The Lei family's attacks became even more ferocious, and some of the soldiers of the Lei family almost reached the city wall. Lei smiled. The Lei family would soon be able to attack the city wall. Qin City's strength was only so, and there was nothing to be afraid of. However, at this moment the situation took a turn for the worse. The 3,000 to 4,000 Thunder Eagles of the Lei family suddenly targeted the place where the Lei family was commanding, which was where Lei Ying was. Boom! Boom! Massive bolts of lightning struck down, and the higher-ups of the Lei family could not react at all. No one had expected that their family's gold-refined holy beasts would attack them, and their bodies were charred black and died. Lei Ying looked dumbfounded, and blood flowed out of his mouth. He had not reacted in time, and now he had been heavily injured by the lightning. Before anyone could react, another wave of lightning struck down at an extremely fast speed. The loud sound of thunder and lightning spread out, and dazzling lightning covered the entire area. Lei Ying died instantly, and more than 90% of the higher-ups of the Lei family's army had died. The remaining small portion had also suffered heavy injuries. With such a major incident happening in the rear, the Lei family's army immediately panicked. Qin's army did its best to counterattack. Rune arrows shot out, piercing through the bodies of the gold-refined soldiers. Gold-refined balls were thrown out, and massive explosions occurred, sending countless gold-refined soldiers flying. Boom! Boom! Massive sounds of thunder rang out as bolts of lightning blasted towards the magic formation on the ground. The powerful bolts of lightning destroyed the magic formation. Swish! An earth-shattering sound rang out as a massive ray of light tore through the sky and instantly shot towards the Lord Crystal. The Lord Crystal was no longer protected by the magic formation. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the crystal exploded, causing countless fragments to fly out, and a shock wave spread out. The Thunder Eagles that had received the Lord Crystal's power immediately became much weaker, and Qin's Den Dragon quickly started to ferociously attack the Thunder Eagles. Without the Lord Crystal's power, the Thunder Eagles were not a match for Qin's Den Dragon at all. Thunder Eagles were continuously blasted down, creating large craters in the ground. All of this had happened too quickly, and no one had a chance to counterattack. Qin's attacks were incredibly ferocious, and the Lei family's army had no chance to defend. However, even if they had a chance to fight back, it would be useless. The upper echelons of the Lei family were all dead, and there was no one to command this army. No matter how strong this army was, it was just a pile of loose sand, and it would not pose a threat to Qin. Under Qin's ferocious attacks, the Lei family's army retreated in panic. With the Lord Crystal shattered, the Lei family was destined to lose. Qin had no intention of letting them go, and he continued to fiercely chase after the Lei family, slaughtering the Lei family's soldiers and Thunder Eagles. Why had the Lei family's Thunder Eagles suddenly lost control and turned to attack Lei Ying's army? It was because of the ancient martial god. When the two sides were fighting fiercely, Zhao Fu had sent the ancient martial god into the sky to fight. Although the ancient martial god had been quickly blasted apart, he had used this opportunity to merge with the Thunder Eagles and control them. The ancient martial god's ability had been explained before. Chapter 3158. Book 1, Chapter 103. On the other side of the battlefield, the wrath of the war god was attacking the Yen family's alchemy beasts ferociously. Huge beams of light shot out, shaking the heavens and earth. The Yen family's alchemy beasts were also humanoid. They looked as if they were made of rocks, and there were 2 huge cannons on their back. There were also many smaller cannons on their shoulders and arms. What was surprising was that these alchemy beasts were also pulling a huge rock shield. Qin's wrath of the war god and the many alchemy beasts' attacks were mostly blocked by the Yen family's alchemy beasts. They only caused a small number of casualties. The Yen family's defense was indeed shocking. However, Qin's side was also completely suppressing the alchemy beasts. The Yen family's alchemy beasts had no chance to counterattack. The Yen family's army was also fighting against Qin's army. The Yen family's strategy was to defend strongly, attack slowly, and suffer fewer casualties. Qin continued to attack. Beams of light, arrows, and energy balls flew towards the Yen family's army. The Yen family's army put up a few defenses to block many of Qin's attacks. They slowly approached Qin. Boom, boom, boom. The alchemy soldiers pressed their hands on the ground. A strong alchemy power gathered. Metal stairs formed and stretched towards the top of Qin's city walls. Wang Jian looked at the army preparing to attack. He was expressionless. He ordered his army to start defending. A huge black energy barrier appeared and covered Qin's city walls. Now, it was the Yen family's turn to attack. The Yen family didn't seem to be very good at attacking either. Although the arrows and rocks contained a considerable amount of power, it would still take some time before they could break through the defensive barrier of the city wall. Qin attacked the Yen family's army and caused less damage. Both sides seemed to be fighting a long battle. However, the battle on the other side had already ended. They wouldn't give the Yen family any more time to attack. Knowing that the Lei family had lost and that Lei Ying had died, the Yen family's people's faces turned ugly. Zhou Yan immediately ordered his men to retreat. Seeing the Yen family's army retreat, Wang Jian wasn't too surprised. He also knew that Zhao Fu had won. Wang Jian didn't give the order to chase after them because they wouldn't be able to reap too many benefits. When the Jin family heard this, they were relieved. However, the Lei family also sent people to persuade them to join in. The 3 families attacked Qin City together to clear out Qin City. However, due to various considerations, they didn't join in the end. Now was the best proof. Perhaps the ending of the Lei family would also be the ending of the Jin family. Zhao Fu ordered the army of the Lei family to continue to chase the army of the Lei family, while the army of the Lei family fled in all directions. Their numbers became fewer and fewer. They were either lost or killed or captured by Qin. In the end, Qin directly attacked the territory of the Lei family. Now, the Lei family only had 10 billion soldiers left, and a small number of alchemy sacred beasts. Because most of the soldiers and alchemy sacred beasts had been brought to attack Qin, only a small number of people and alchemy sacred beasts had escaped. No one had expected such a thing to happen. The Lei family's expressions were ugly, and they were defending themselves hurriedly. They had no confidence that they could defend against Qin at all. The person in charge was the tall woman named Lei Yin. Lei Yin looked at Zhao Fu, who was sitting on the dragon head of a huge alchemy nest, and shouted, "Please don't attack the Lei family. We are willing to reconcile with Qin City." Zhao Fu snorted coldly. "I have given you a chance, but you still dare to attack Qin City. Now you want to reconcile with him? It's wishful thinking." Lei Yin explained, "That was Lei Ying's doing. He alone can't represent all of the Lei family. For example, I am willing to coexist peacefully with Qin City, and I am also unwilling to attack Qin City. I tried to persuade Lei Ying, but he didn't listen to me." The others also cried out in fear, "We don't want to attack Qin City. We are willing to coexist peacefully with Qin City. You can't blame us, it's all that Lei Ying's fault. Qin City gave us another chance, and there won't be a next time." Zhao Fu said coldly, "Lei Ying is the leader of the Lei family, so you can accept this result. Attack!" Boom! 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 Zhao Fu gave the order, and the alchemy nest dragon, which had long since been prepared, spat out massive beams of light towards the Lei family's city walls. The Lei family's faces paled, and they immediately activated their defenses. Arcs of lightning appeared on the city walls, and a massive purple defensive barrier appeared. Bang! 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 The terrifying beams of light hit the defensive barrier, causing ripples of light to spread out. The terrifying power destroyed the defensive barrier. The alchemy nest dragon wanted to continue attacking. Lei Yin had no choice but to send out the remaining lightning eagles to block, and lightning bolts blasted towards the alchemy nest dragon. Zhao Fu ordered the alchemy nest dragon to rush at the lightning eagles and get rid of them first. Qin City's army gave off a powerful aura as they rushed towards the Lei family. That terrifying aura swept out, causing everyone to feel terror. The Lei family activated a magic formation. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a beam of light shot into the sky with immense power. Countless dark clouds quickly gathered, and the air became quite stifling. Arcs of lightning started to flash within the dark clouds. Bolts of lightning containing unstoppable power descended from the sky and blasted towards Qin City's soldiers below. Qin City's soldiers gave off a wave of power and condensed a massive black defensive barrier, blocking the descending bolts of lightning. The lightning bolts were incredibly terrifying, and as they slammed into the defensive barrier, sparks shot out in all directions. Lightning power spread out, causing people's hairs to stand on end. Some small cracks appeared on the defensive barrier, but they were quickly repaired. Lightning continuously descended from the sky, and Qin City's soldiers blocked with the defensive barrier as they continued to rush towards the Lei family. Seeing Qin City's soldiers come closer and closer, Lei Yin had people throw out thunder crystals, wanting to use any methods to stop Qin City's soldiers. The countless lightning crystals gave off light and formed balls of lightning that flew towards Great Qin's army. They slammed into Great Qin's defensive barrier and exploded, causing arcs of lightning to spread across the defensive barrier as a wave of electricity blasted against it. This caused many cracks to appear on the defensive barrier, and Qin City's soldiers mustered even more power to block the lightning bolts and repair the crack. The countless thunder crystals caused Qin City's soldiers to slow down. The battle in the sky was incredibly intense. An alchemy nest dragon opened its mouth and spat out an enormous beam of light, which hit a lightning eagle's chest and opened a large hole. Another alchemy nest dragon grabbed a lightning eagle's wing and flung it away. A lightning eagle gave off an ear-piercing cry and gave off many bolts of lightning as it blasted towards an alchemy nest dragon, hitting the alchemy saint beast and causing it to give off countless bolts of lightning. The alchemy nest dragon flapped its wings and sent the lightning eagle flying. Chapter 3159. Book 1. Zhao Fu was stunned. The lightning eagle gave off a powerful lightning aura as it flew towards a lair Wyrm. However, a lair Wyrm suddenly appeared and bit down on the lightning eagle's wing, while another lair Wyrm bit down on the other wing. The two lair Wyrms vigorously tore apart the lightning eagle's wings. Qin's den wyverns were already more powerful than the lightning eagles, and now that there were more of them, the lightning eagles were continuously destroyed and their numbers quickly decreased. Seeing that most of the lightning eagles had been destroyed, Zhao Fu had the den wyverns start to attack the city walls. Rays of light containing immense power shot towards the Lei family's city walls, and the Lei family immediately unleashed a second defensive barrier. Another defensive barrier appeared, covering the Lei family's city walls, but it was quickly shattered by Qin. In order to defend against the den wyvern's next wave of attacks, Lei Yin could only have the countless bolts of lightning descend from the sky towards the den wyverns. The den wyverns gave off a metallic barrier, blocking the incoming lightning bolt. Facing the lightning bolts, the den wyverns were unable to attack. Without the lightning bolts suppressing them, the army's attacks sped up, and Lei Yin could only have the Lei family's soldiers throw out more lightning crystals. The Lei family's soldiers threw out the lightning crystals as if they were worthless, and they were densely packed as they flew towards Qin's soldiers. This ferocious attack continued for a while, and the lightning bolts in the sky and the lightning crystals continuously decreased. Some of the refiner wyverns flew to the back and once again shot out beams of light, quickly shooting towards the Lei family's residence, bringing with them wild gales. Even though the distance was longer and the power was weaker, they could still reach the Lei family's soldiers. The rays of light landed on the city walls, causing explosions. Many of the Lei family's soldiers were blasted away, and some were devoured by the light. Their bodies turned into minced meat, and there were broken corpses all around them. With this wave of attacks from the den wyverns, Qin's army quickly rushed to the city walls and started to attack. Arrows drew out arcs of light, piercing through the bodies of the Lei family's soldiers. Many siege weapons were released. There were ladders, flying locks, chains, and metal stairs. Boom! Boom boom boom! The alchemy den dragon shot out another wave of attacks, and beams of light quickly shot towards the city walls. The light illuminated the surroundings, and when the beams hit the city walls, they exploded. Taking advantage of this, Qin's soldiers also attacked the city wall and began to fight with the Lei family's soldiers. One of the Lei family's soldiers slashed out with his saber, sending out a saber light that sent a great Qin soldier flying off the city walls. Another great Qin soldier immediately shot an arrow, piercing that Lei family's soldier's throat. A Qin soldier stabbed with his spear, piercing the abdomen of a Lei family soldier. That Lei family soldier had blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, but he still wanted to attack with all his might. The Qin soldier swung his arm and flung that Lei family soldier away. When a Lei family soldier saw this, he was so scared that he wanted to run away. A Qin soldier chased after him and slashed at the Lei family soldier's back. Blood spurted out and that Qin soldier died. The battle was fierce, and the sounds of fighting were endless. Blood spurted everywhere, dyeing the city walls red. It was clear that Qin's side had a great advantage. They had far more people than the Lei family, and the Lei family soldiers kept dying. The alchemy den dragon flew over to help. It spat out a beam of light, blasting some Lei family soldiers away. It flapped its wings, and a storm blew the Lei family soldiers away. Some alchemy den dragons opened their mouths and bit more than a dozen soldiers to death. The Lei family knew that they had lost. They could no longer resist Qin, so they started to run away. The Lei family's defensive line completely collapsed, and Qin quickly took control of the city walls. Many of the Lei family soldiers also ran away. Some of the Lei family soldiers who were unable to escape could only throw down their weapons and kneel on the ground, begging Qin not to kill them. Qin's soldiers charged into the Lei family's territory, and they quickly attacked the various regions. The Lei family was in chaos, and countless commoners packed up their things and ran away in fear. Some soldiers did not care about the commoners and also joined in the escape. Qin's soldiers charged into these regions and started to slaughter the commoners and soldiers. Screams and cries continuously sounded out, and an aura of terror spread everywhere. In the end, Qin's soldiers conquered the Lei family. Zhao Fu sat on the Lei family's throne and looked at the people who were tied up in chains. They were the higher-ups of the Lei family. Among them was Lei Yin. Now that the Lei family had been destroyed, Zhao Fu's anger dissipated. He said with a smile, "Now, does the Lei family have anything to say?" Lei Yin snorted coldly and said, "Now that you have destroyed the Lei family, I have nothing to say. I can only blame my brother for choosing Lei Ying as the Lei family's leader, which led to the destruction of the Lei family. If he had chosen me, this would not have happened." The middle-aged man beside her sighed and said, "I tried to persuade Lei Ying, but she insisted on attacking Qin." A young man shouted angrily, "It's all Lei Ying's fault. He caused the Lei family to end up like this. He is the sinner of the Lei family." A voluptuous woman with a charming face said, "This time, it's my son's fault for acting on impulse. As a mother, I am willing to bear all of this." She was called Lei Wan-er, and she was Lei Ying's mother. A beautiful woman who looked somewhat similar to her said, "Big sister, I'm willing to bear all of this with you. Qin's Majesty, if you want to punish someone, just punish the two of us and let the others go." She was Lei Wan-er's little sister, Lei Wanxia, and she was the wife of another elder. That elder had followed Lei Ying to attack Qin and had died in that sudden attack. Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, "I'll let you go. Now let's see if I'm satisfied. If I'm satisfied, I'll slaughter the entire Lei family." Everyone looked terrified. Could it be that the Lei family was going to be destroyed and their bloodline could not be passed down? A beautiful woman wearing a long red dress cried and said, "Your Majesty, please let me go. I don't want to die, I'll do anything you want." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Take all of the men away." Hearing this, the soldiers took the men away, and there were only 20 or so women left. Most of them were around 30 years old, and their men had all died in the previous battle. Many of the higher-ups of the Lei family had died there. They had not even had the chance to escape. Lei Yin coldly looked at Zhao Fu and said, "What do you want to do? You've already destroyed the Lei family. How do you want to humiliate the Lei family?" Zhao Fu smiled as he walked over and hugged Lei Yin as he said, "You'll soon know how I'll humiliate you." Lei Yin coldly harumphed and turned her head away, not resisting. She naturally knew what Zhao Fu wanted to do, and she was afraid that Zhao Fu would completely slaughter the Lei family. If that happened, the Lei family would truly be destroyed, and she did not want the Lei family to end up like that. Chapter 3160. Book 1, Chapter 105. A few hours later. Lei Yin said with a rosy face, "Are you satisfied now?" Zhao Fu chuckled. "I'm not very satisfied." Lei Yin said coldly, "What else do you want?" Zhao Fu smiled and said, "I don't want to do anything, but I will let the Lei family off this time. This is also the last chance." The girls heaved a sigh of relief. The bloodline of the Lei family had been preserved. Lei Yin said, "There won't be a next time and there won't be another chance. Now that Qin has taken over our Lei family, how are you going to deal with us?" Lei Wan-er said, "I want Great Qin to stop slaughtering our Lei family's people. Enough people from the Lei family have died, and they didn't do anything wrong. I'm willing to bear the consequences." Zhao Fu hugged her and said with a smile, "As long as the Lei family surrenders to me, I won't kill wantonly. Also, I like you more. You have to perform well in the future." Lei Wan-er blushed and nodded shyly. Lei Yin looked at her sister-in-law and couldn't help but snort. She was still a bit dissatisfied. After all, Lei Wan was her brother's wife. A beautiful woman with delicate features asked, "Your Majesty, may I ask why the Thunder Eagle suddenly attacked the upper echelons of the Lei family? My man died in that battle, I want to understand anything." The others looked curiously at Zhao Fu, because this was a change that would determine the fate of the Lei family. Currently, the Lei family was unclear as to why the Thunder Eagle had gone out of control. Zhao Fu chuckled and said, "Those Thunder Eagles are controlled by the ancient martial god. This is also one of Qin's tricks. Qin has the power to destroy the Lei family. I really don't want to attack the Lei family. I want to develop peacefully, but you attacked me instead. So, I can only destroy you in advance." Hearing this, everyone regretted not stopping Lei. Zhao Fu said with a smile, "All right. I'm going to deal with the Yan family." If it weren't for the Yan family's matters, Zhao Fu would have played with these women for a few days. Hearing this, the women responded. It could be said that the Yan family was harmed by the Lei family. Originally, nothing would have happened if they had been well behaved, but now they had to face Qin's threat. Zhao Fu returned to Qin, planning to gather his forces and destroy the Yan family. However, the Yan family had sent an envoy first. They were willing to reconcile with Qin and were willing to compensate him with a large amount of resources. Zhao Fu looked at the young emissary and said, "Do you think that I, Qin, lack these things? You guys started the war and now you want to reconcile? Do you think it's funny?" The young man said nervously, "This time, it was our Yan family's fault. I apologize to you on behalf of the Yan family. I can guarantee that this will not happen again. We are willing to pay any price." Zhao Fu looked at the young man and said, "How can I trust you?" The young man's expression relaxed as he replied respectfully, "Your Majesty, what do we need to do to gain your trust?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I need your family leader's wife and the wives of the generals who participated in this war to be sent to Qin as hostages. Otherwise, Qin will destroy your Yan family." Now that Zhao Fu was not in the mood to start a war, his focus was on the Heaven-awakened world. Perhaps he would give up on the territory and resources here, so there was no need for Qin to pay any price to attack the Yan family. However, Zhao Fu would not let the Yan family off so easily. He would definitely make them suffer. Hearing this, the young man's expression became quite unsightly as he said, "This might be quite difficult." Zhao Fu coldly harumphed, "If you can't even do this, how can I trust you? You can piss off now. If you don't agree, just wait for Qin to attack." The young man turned and left the palace. After hearing about this, the Yan family looked incredibly furious. Asking their women to be hostages was a humiliation to the Yan family, as well as a humiliation to the Yan family from Qin. Moreover, the ruler of Qin was incredibly licentious. It was said that he had just toyed with all of the Lei family's women. If their women went to Qin, wouldn't that be sending sheep into a tiger's den? A middle-aged man said furiously, "I definitely won't agree. Even if Qin attacks, we won't do anything. At most, we'll just fight to the death." A man with a mustache said, "But can we defeat Qin? You've all seen what happened to the Lei family." The chubby man coldly harumphed, "I told you not to attack from the start, and now that this has happened, it's all your fault. You must pay the price for this. I think that His Majesty Qin is very fair and only needs the men's women." The fair-skinned young man also complained, "I don't want to die. If you want to die, don't drag us down with you. Moreover, you're only sacrificing your women, you're sacrificing the lives of countless people from the Yan family." The middle-aged man said furiously, "Do you have any guts? How can you accept such humiliation?" The chubby man cried out, "It's your fault. Do you want us to bear the consequences?" The middle-aged man said furiously, "Do you think that if you don't attack Qin, Qin won't attack? That's simply stupid." The fair-skinned young man said coldly, "At least he won't attack for no reason. After all, I'm only handing over the women as hostages. It's just a few women, but it can protect the Yin family. No matter how I think about it, it's worth it. The middle-aged man looked furious and wanted to say something. The honest-looking middle-aged man said, "Promise Qin that I won't fight anymore. I hope that Qin can keep his promise and not attack the Yin family." Hearing the family head say this, the people who opposed did not say anything else, and the people who supported the Yin family all smiled. Long Yenji returned home. A noble and beautiful woman sat there. She was Long Yenji's wife, and her name was Yanxinyu. It seemed that she knew the outcome of the discussion. Long Yenji did not know what to say and could only sigh. Yanxinyu said calmly, "I'm partly responsible for this. I was the one who persuaded you to attack Qin. I'm willing to bear the consequences so you don't have to feel guilty." Long Yenji looked at his wife and said, "But I didn't do anything. I'm sorry." Yanxinyu looked at Long Yenji and said softly, "I understand your intentions. There's no need to say anything more. In the future, I might be able to help Qin a little. You also need to remember that Qin definitely won't let the Yin family off so easily. You need to be prepared." Long Yenji nodded. "I know." Yanxinyu asked, "Is there anything else you want to say to me?" Long Yenji looked at his wife and wanted to say something, but he could not open his mouth. In another courtyard, a shrewish woman pinched the neck of a weak young man and said angrily, "You bastard, are you still a man? You actually sent your own woman as a hostage? Do you believe that I won't kill you right now?" The woman's name was Yen Sijiao. The man begged for mercy. "This was not my decision, it was the family head's decision. The family head had no other choice. If we don't hand over the two of you as hostages, Qin will attack. Wife, I can only let you suffer." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.